What limits you? Too small, too old, insecure, broken. You have no limits. Rethink your limits.
This is the OPS pregame report.
And welcome live to game number 2 of Homestead's 2-game stretch at Dave S. Walters Memorial Stadium, where we're getting set for tonight's Week 3 SAC thriller between 6A's number 4 Homestead Spartans and the top dog in Class 2A, the Bishop Luers Knights. Good evening, I'm Brayden Carroll, joined by Anthony Gery, Noah Lancz, and sideline reporter Carly Flanagan. As we're just about 13 minutes away from kickoff of tonight's game, it's a gray day, but a beautiful day for football in Fort Wayne, Indiana. And guys, we are getting a treat tonight between two of the best teams Northern Indiana has to offer.
And this game has me on my toes. On one side, you have a dominant Homestead squad, and on the other, we have one of the most welcoming surprises in the SAC with the Bishop Luers Knights.
It should be a very exciting matchup between two of the top teams in the SAC, and it could decide who wins the SAC this year.
And let's begin with the OPS pregame report. Last week, Homestead had no problem with the Concordia Cadets, handing the Maroon and White their first loss of the season with the decisive 59-14 win and another stupendous showing from the brick wall that is the Spartan defense.
And a brick wall they are. Homestead is the best team in the SAC against the run, allowing negative 14 yards over the last 2 games. Incredible performance by the front 6 Homestead to stop the run.
And that front 6 is going to look to continue to do what they've been doing all season, and they're going to try to control the tempo of this game while they are on the field.
And Week 2 really proved to be the week Northeast Indiana was truly introduced to the dynamic duo of quarterback Brayden Slavin and wideout Nate Anderson. 3 touchdowns for Slavin, and 2 of those went to Nate Anderson, not to mention 123 receiving yards from the Western Michigan commit.
And if I'm Luers coach Kyle Lindsay right now, I am on edge after seeing how great the connection between Slavin and Anderson was. You see Slavin finding Nate Anderson wide open, and this connection, it looked rough at the start of the Northrop game, but they found their stride together in the Concordia game, connecting for 2 touchdowns.
And Slavin has really only found his stride with Anderson and Sparrow this season. They've been the 1 and 2 for the wide receivers, and if one of them has an off night, somebody else is going to need to step up.
He certainly had a huge game against Concordia, and it's really great wide receiver core that Homestead has.
And Nate Anderson, he had 8 receptions for 162 yards and 3 touchdowns over the course of 2 games. That's dangerous numbers if you're any defense in the SAC.
And looking at other games from the SAC last week, there were some shockers in Week 2. First off, Carroll, without star QB Jeff Becker, found a way to pull out a 29-28 win against Snyder. With Jamison Coverstone, he carried the offensive load with a jaw-dropping 229 receiving yards and 3 touchdowns.
And it tells you something about Snyder's defense, and that maybe it might not be what everybody expected it to be going into the season. It was expected to be by far the best defense in the SAC, and now after losing, giving up 29 points to a backup quarterback, that may be in question, as they sit at 1-1 and only 1 missed kick away from being 0-2.
And with Becker, you'd assume Carroll would win just about every single game, but just a shock to see them lose.
And how about the Southside Archers, projected by everyone and their mother to finish last in the SAC, finding themselves an upset win in the early goings of the season, 26-14 over the Northrop Bruins. This is the first SAC win by Southside over a team not named Wayne or Northside since 2013.
And that's very impressive for Southside. It was an incredible comeback, down almost the entire game, but unfortunately you can't take too much away from the game as both teams were out with a ton of players due to COVID contact tracing, not taking away from from Southside's incredible win, but it was kind of a freebie.
And Southside has a new coach, Coach Guy. He has his milestone first win. Congrats to him there.
Yeah, for Coach Guy Tiny Lee, that is a huge early going in his career. And if you want to build a program in Southside, you got to start off with a win early in your tenure. And then elsewhere in the conference, Dwenger took care of business against Northside, who was down to their third-string QB, Rodney Woods, by the fourth quarter, who, by the way, officially listed on the roster as a wide receiver. The Legend offense just could not get going and took the 39-13 shellacking by the hands of the Saints.
And this tells you something about Northside. They struggle without their star wide receiver, Bronte Johnson. If they don't have him, it almost seems like, what does their offense have? They had a lot of guys out with COVID, but without Bronte Johnson, they really, really struggle.
And the Bishop Dwenger Saints will take on Homestead in just 2 weeks. And while Luers, Homestead, and Dwenger are the only remaining undefeated teams, that game could really decide the SAC.
And finally, Homestead's opponent this week in Bishop Luers, they got the job done against Wayne last week in their beautiful new all-red uniforms. First time they pulled out the all-red since 1960. Sir Harold dominated with 123 yards on the ground in the 47-26 win.
And Luers really took care of business against Wayne and got the chance to rest a bunch of players for tonight's matchup.
Those front six will look to stop all the running backs of Bishop Luers as they have been so strong to start off the season.
And now we're going to take a quick look at the SAC conference standings. So after 2 weeks, only 3 teams remain unbeaten after their first 2 games. And obviously one of Bishop Luers or Homestead, one of those teams is going to lose tonight. If we've learned anything from the conference since Homestead and Carroll joined in 2015, it's that you must bring it every night in the SAC. Conference titles can be won or lost early in the season with 1 or 2 losses, showing how significant it is to perform at the highest level every Friday night of the season.
It's all about head-to-head matchups. If you're sitting at the top of the conference, when there are 2 or 3 teams a year with less than 3 losses, it's important to win those big games such as the one tonight.
And if you don't win those games, you could just miss out on the sectional and your season is over just like that because of 1 or 2 losses.
Certainly huge to remain undefeated or only with 1 loss in the SAC because it can really cost you to lose just one of those. And here come the Homestead Spartans. They're undefeated to start off this season, and they're ready to hope and go 3-0 after this game against Bishop Luers.
And this game is going to be huge for Homestead and Bishop Luers in the long run. Like it just said, every single game counts when you're trying to stand atop the conference. And it's a big deal tonight. 2 of arguably the best teams in the conference facing off early in the season.
It's really a huge game here just because there's a top 5 team in 2 separate sections. So it'll be very important.
And still ahead in the OPS pregame report, we're going to be taking a look at the undefeated Knights of Bishop Luers, along with SAC standings and what players to watch for tonight. The OPS pregame report continues after these messages.
What limits you? Too small, too old, insecure, broken. You have no limits. Rethink your limits.
Welcome back to the OPS pregame report. I'm Brayden Carroll, joined alongside Anthony Gery and Noah Lancz. And guys, after the first 2 weeks brought some serious heat on those Friday nights, tonight looks to be the best weather yet, and thankfully, a night that shouldn't decide the outcome of the game.
And compared to the last two, this one is chilly. It's a little bit cooler. But hey, if you ask me, this is perfect temperature for some Friday Night Light football.
And we've been seeing some terrible weather all around the country from the effects of Hurricane Ida, but thankfully is not affecting here in Fort Wayne, Indiana.
And guys, Homestead, they've had quite the challenge ahead of them tonight, as Bishop Luers is one of the premier teams in the entire state. Coming off a heartbreaking defeat in the 2A title game last year, they are out of the gates and off to the races. Undefeated, #1 in the AP and coaches poll in 2A, a big win over Carroll week 1 that snapped a 3-game losing streak to them. This team is proving that they are one of the biggest threats in the conference right now.
And there is a reason. It starts with Carson Clark and that offense. They perform so well. They've been able to rack up a ton of points over the course of the first 2 weeks, and it ends with the defense and stopping the run game.
The Bishop Luers have been the huge shock of the SAC this season that many people did not see coming, but there are still 6 games after this one.
And last week it was Slavin versus Maddox. Now it's Slavin versus Clark. And unlike last week, this QB battle favors the opposing gunslingers. Carson Clark has emerged to become the face of a stacked group of quarterbacks in the SAC. It will be a fun one to watch, with a whole lot of people predicting a whole lot of touchdowns between these two.
And this was my preseason battle for the SAC Player of the Year, and I think we'll really get a look at it tonight as both Carson Clark and Peyton Slavin get to go head-to-head.
We're going to have 2 guys slinging it down the field for a long time. It's going to be very fun to see, and one of them could decide the game, whoever performs better than the other.
And guys, real quick, let's look at the OPS keys to the game. For Luers, Sir Hale, he needs to find a way to get past the 3 pillars of pure marble that are Matt Miller, Johnny Waldell, and Jackson Chrisman. And on defense, the secondary needs to get in the way of Slavin and Anderson, because if you let those two get going early, it could be game over.
And I think the biggest keys to the game for Homestead are to open up the passing lanes on offense, let Slavin throw it deep, let him really test out his arm strength. And on defense, Homestead needs to do what they do best and stop the run game, but their secondary has to step up against Carson Clark and his gunslinger arm.
They've truly got a deadly duo on the offensive side, one of the best in the SAC this year, and those front 3 are very hard to get past.
We're getting set for kickoff as Carter Dixon, he's back out there, his first week out here for the Spartans. The kickoff specialist, long field goal kicker and punter for this team, did not play weeks 1 and 2 with a hamstring injury, and now he is back after last season having the 10th best yards per punt in the state of Indiana at 39.6.
And Cameron Jarrett really was able to fill in the role for Carter Dixon while he was out, going perfect on kicks and looking perfect on kickoffs, but having their star kicker back, Homestead, that's just another edge they have over the SAC.
And they needed someone to step in for Dixon, and Gery provided that for them, and he did a pretty good job while doing it.
Perfect on field goals, perfect on PATs, but now Carter Dixon back out there for the Spartans, and I'm sure everybody's glad to see number 46 out there ready to go. Homestead Bishop Luers kicking off at Dave Walters Memorial Stadium. And just like old times, Carter Dixon getting the touchback. Man, he is a fantastic kicker. Last season, he found himself in the double digits for touchbacks and starting off his first kickoff into the end zone.
And a smart play by Homestead. That's an edge that not many people talk about that they have over other teams in the SAC. They can get touchbacks and not risk kick returns, whereas Luers, they might not be able to have their kicker make it all the way to the end zone, which is where it opens up Nate Anderson to return the kick, as he's done great so far this year.
And Luers' returner there didn't really seem like he was expecting for it to go all the way back out of the end zone, but as you guys were talking about, Dixon has such a strong leg.
And here comes the fearless QB from Bishop Luers, Carson Clark. He's got interest from Eastern Michigan, Duke, several other D1 schools on the season. 7 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. And he is ready to go against the number 4 team in Homestead. First down, throw back field to Brayden McInturf. Upfield and brought down about 3 yards ahead of the line of scrimmage.
And Concordia ran a ton of these plays against Homestead, these screen passes, and it doesn't work as you see Jacob Scavo getting the initial contact and allowing for Carter Koob to come in there and finish the tackle.
The Homestead Spartan defense was really just unfazed there.
2nd and 6 now for Carson Clark and this Knights offense. Fiery team, 42.5 points per game, 2nd best in the SAC. And a curl route good to Antoine Lake on 2nd down.
Pass complete.
And they're going to mark him at right about the 1st down marker. Move those chains. Luers starts their first set of downs, moving the chains.
And Antoine Lake has Desmond Smith completely fooled on that curl route. Now what you want to see for Homestead is the secondary, they need to step up.
Fresh set of downs now for Bishop Luers. First handoff of the game, and it is snuffed out by the Spartan defense. Carter Koob getting the tackle just about at the line of scrimmage.
And this is what Homestead does best. Their front six stops every single running play, and it takes everybody. Johnny Waddell, Carter Koob, and the rest of the team bring in the tackle.
As we talked about in the pregame, that front six is going to be so important for Homestead, and we're seeing it right there.
Carson Clark barking out signals to his wideouts. And through 2 games, he has thrown for 596 yards. He's already on pace for 3,000 this season. So he drops back, scrambles. He can use his feet as well and slides safely to the ground. Solid gain, as it'll just be 3rd and short coming up.
An incredible quarterback discipline, looking deep, sees the hole and decides to go for the run, then sliding, keeping himself out of trouble as he knows Homestead linebackers are heavy hitters.
And Max Schultz was right there to stop him and forcing him to slide.
Early 3rd down for Bishop Luers. Stacked house for Homestead. They're bringing the pressure to number 10. Hands off up the middle. And 1st down for Bishop Luers. Solid game on the ground, and we know that Luers has a stacked backfield as that running back gets down.
And that's something you don't normally see. Max Schultz completely missing a tackle, allowing for the extra 7-yard gain.
1st down for Bishop Luers. Carson Clark, man in motion. Brody Glenn. He's looking for the screens of Brody. Pocket collapses, gets it off to Glenn, and he is shut down in the backfield. The captain, Max Schultz, making the stuff.
And it looks like the ball came out and the refs are calling it down. What great natural playing by Matt Miller, applying the pressure to Carson Clark, and then takes 3 guys. And it looks like that ball comes out as Austin Keyser knocked it out. Unfortunately, no replay in high school. And it's going to set up a long 2nd down.
2nd and 17 for Bishop Luers. A lot of ground to gain for Carson Clark in this offense. Blitz coming. Drops back, and he throws the short gain, and that is going absolutely nowhere. Once again, Homestead stuffing the Knights at the line.
And that's Max Schultz's redemption. As you see, he reads the play right there and knocks the running back down. And we said the linebackers were heavy hitters, and that right there is a prime example.
Schultz applying the huge hit after he had a few missed tackles in the early plays.
Here comes yet another 3rd down for Bishop Luers, but this one way back, 19 yards from a 1st down. Carson Clark sure to throw the gunslinger out there. Blitz coming, Max Schultz trying to get to Carson Clark. Scrambles, throw, one-handed grab by Jaden Hill. What a way to get the 1st down for your team.
And what a great play. Carson Clark keeping the play alive as Matt Miller, he knows the pressure's coming, launches it up, and that is that elite ball placement. What a great pass to Jaden Hill, the tight end. And now it's a 1st down for Bishop Luers.
1st and 10 for Bishop Luers, now in Homestead territory. Carson Clark barking out his signals, fakes the handoff, short ball to Jaden Hill again. And it is complete about halfway from the 1st down line.
And Jaden Hill, you got to watch out for him. He knows how to run these short routes. As you see, he comes right in on the slant and barely beats out Desmond Smith.
And after that play, he looked a little shooken up. He's shaking his hand right now.
2nd and 5 for Bishop Luers. They're marching down the field quickly, almost too quickly if you're Coach Zolman and the Spartan defense. Handoff up the gut. Cuts to the middle, and he is stuffed just short of the first down marker. Jackson Chrisman in there for the tackle.
He'll get about 3 yards on that pickup.
It's Jackson Chrisman and Max Schultz again. Schultz, he's just blocking the middle, taking up as Piers. The Bishop Luers offensive line is doing a great job of taking care of Johnny Waddell.
Here's another 3rd down for Bishop Luers. Their last 3rd down, 3rd and 17, went quite well as Jaden Hill got himself about 20 yards on the reception. Now they're facing a much shorter 3rd down. He'll throw to his wideouts again. Antoine Lake complete, and another one for Bishop Luers. They are driving down this field.
And Bishop Luers is like no team Homestead has played. They pass the ball way more than they run it in Homestead. They've got to adapt to it. It's Austin Keyser missed the tackle, and Max Schultz, the senior captain, had to come there and finish up the process.
And Bishop Luers has already been 3 for 3 on 3rd downs. Homestead's going to need to stop that if they want to get off the field.
Another 1st down for Bishop Luers. Carson Clark, he's just such an amazing quarterback. Last year, his final 8 games, 28 touchdowns and 1 interception. He can really dominate on the offensive end. And Sir Hale shut down on the carry. As that is Max Schultz getting there to make the tackle.
Max Schultz really making a redemption from the first half of this drive. He goes up the middle and just brings him down. No offensive lineman, grabs the foot, and then Carter Koob there to finish it up.
Saw his shoe come off, so he's going to have to come off the field for this play here.
2nd and 13 for the Knights. Carson Clark in the gun. This is where Luers usually runs their offense. Clark 3 yards safely behind, but the blitz is coming, and it's in there. Carter Koob, Johnny Waddell forcing some pressure. He scrambles upfield with the 1st down, and Luers marches into the red zone.
And how about the offensive line for Concordia? But Billy O'Connor with the block, saving Carson Clark and allowing him to run all the way around until Jacob Scavo pushes him out of bounds.
And Clark has been looking really strong this game. He's been able to throw it down the field whenever he wants to, and when he can't find anyone down the field, he's been able to escape the pocket and run it.
Fresh set of downs for Luers, and in the red zone, might see Carson Clark hand off to R.J. Hogue a few times. Homestead, 3 linebackers up there, and there's the run to Hogue. Sheds a tackle into the end zone. No signal yet. Yes, touchdown, Bishop Luers. The Knights strike first.
And this is Homestead, something they have not seen yet. This Homestead defense, they've got to get themselves together. They've got to get more discipline. Luers, they just ran through. Took a while, but they made it all the way as Browning gets all the way into the end zone.
And they really just drove down the field at will. There was no stop in sight there.
R.J. Hogue, first carry of the game, and it is a touchdown for Bishop Luers. Homestead uncharacteristically now down. Raul Pineda, extra point, easy for number 40, and Bishop Luers has the lead over the Spartans, 7-0.
Rethink your limits.
Marco's Pizza, located at 10345 Illinois Road, inside the shops of Scott Road. Marcos specializes in pizza, subs, and more. Order online at marcos.com or by phone at 625-6800. Thank you, Marcos, for supporting the Point 91 FM and being a proud sponsor of Homestead Media's athletics coverage.
The Spartans yet to give up an opening quarter touchdown until now. Bishop Luers leads 7-0 over Homestead after a quick and easy drive ends in an R.J. Hope touchdown.
And we got a taste of Bishop Luers' complete offense. Now we get to see a taste of their defense.
Carroll Pineda kickoff high into about the 20. As Max Schultz gets it. In the middle line, he gets to about the 32, and that's going to be a penalty late after the snap. That might be a late hit on Bishop Luers.
And this is going to give Homestead 15 yards after the return, setting them up with great field position.
Personal foul called on Bishop
That'll help the
Luers.
Spartans out a lot as they're already down right now. You saw last week them get off to a quick start, leading 28-0 at the end of the first.
And talked about last week, quick start they got off to. It took 2 plays, 2 touchdowns on offense for Homestead to get an easy 14-0 lead. Something tells me the Bishop Luers defense is not the Concordia defense, though.
No, it's going to be very different tonight as Slavin and Anderson are going to try to connect like they did last week.
1st and 10 for Homestead as they are out on the field with great starting field position. Peyton Slavin, the young quarterback, number 18 out there for his first possession of the game. Fakes the jet sweep, handoff to Des Smith. He has space. He has blockers to the 30. Cuts up field to the 20. And finally knocked out of bounds. One quick play and the Spartans are already in Luers territory and deep.
Bishop Luers has not faced a running back core like Homestead, and it just showed right there on that first play. Desmond Smith Jr. going up the middle, and then the Homestead wide receivers doing a great job of picking up the blocks. We saw them do that with Gage Sparrow last week, and right there with Desmond Smith, they showed the exact same thing.
1st and 10 for Homestead. They are already on a drive here. Anderson handoff again, fakes it, option upfield, cuts inside the red zone, and he's got the first down for the Spartans. Big handoff to Des Smith. Solid read option for number 18.
Peyton Slavin, we have not seen him do much of that so far this season, and he just flipped the script on Luers. If they were watching his film, they're like, okay, he's not a running quarterback, and Slavin just proved them wrong.
And it looked like the play before that, which is why the play works so well. That read option can be so effective when it is ran the right way.
1st and 10 in the red zone for the Spartans. Slavin in the gun, Des Smith off to his right hip. Man in motion, up the gut again is Slavin, and he takes the hit as he slides down inside the 5.
And look at Hog Squad Homestead, the offensive line, making a gap. Jaden Abahaka picking up the block, allowing for a huge hole for Peyton Slavin to run through.
And while Slavin's had 2 good runs on the last 2, if you're Coach Zolman, you don't want to see him taking too many big hits in this game.
We talked about Luers having a solid first drive of the game, while Homestead already 2nd and 3 inside the 5. Slavin handoff to Smith to the side towards the end zone, just short. It'll be a 3rd down coming up. But he almost got there, about 1 yard to go.
And Mikey Daring picked up on the play very fast. The linebacker coming out and just reading the play, getting the tackle, going low, and knocking Des short of the touchdown.
And there's a great tackle there, a touchdown-saving tackle. That'll be huge when it gets later in the game.
Isaac Barkas coming in for Grant higher on the goal line. First 3rd down for the Spartans, and all they need is 1 yard to get a 1st and goal. Goal line offense out there for Homestead. Handoff up the gut to Des Smith. Did he get in? He is marked just short as Bishop Luers stuffs him at the line.
But it will be a 1st down for Homestead. The 1st down marker was at the 1. It's going to be 1st and goal and inches. Jaden Abahaka missing a block there that could have allowed Desmond in. But the senior captain, he'll just brush it off with his experience.
1st and goal. Luers anticipating the handoff. Des Smith Bounces off a lineman and a touchdown for Homestead. Desmond Smith, his second of the season.
Great field vision by Desmond Smith, going around his blockers and just strutting in, walking into the end zone.
And last week, Desmond Smith only got one rush during the whole game, and we've already seen him get more than that just on this drive. He was very effective on this drive, and he was the key player.
Look at the discipline going around his defense, going around his blockers.
Cameron Jarrett lining up for the PAT. He was the starting kicker and punter for weeks 1 and 2. 11-11 on the season. Make it 12 for 12. Homestead just like that. Evens up the score. 7-7. Don't go anywhere. We have a dandy. Spartans tie at 7-7. A studio update as Snyder up 7-0 over the Cadets early. Kickoff deep into the end zone. Carter Dixon once again just showing that leg strength.
That's another sneaky piece for Homestead, and it's something Homestead, they have an edge. I already talked about it in special teams, but having two kickers, one for kickoffs, one for PATs, that's something you don't see very often in high school football.
No, but it could help them down the game if they have a bunch of PATs that they're kicking, keep a leg warm.
And speaking of special teams, Homestead, they love to run that quarterback punt, catching Luers off guard. We'll see if they do it tonight, if they're ever in the punt situation.
Here comes the Luers offense again. Carson Clark has to be feeling confident after that first drive. And just about 7 minutes went straight to the end zone. Carson Clark at QB. Sir Hale, the running back, out there for the Knights. They love to mix it up at the running back position. Pocket collapses, throw downfield, almost caught by Antoine Lake. Great defense by Austin Keyser.
And what a play by Homestead, playing really smart defense, having two guys on the streaking wide receiver, knowing Carson Clark has an arm and breaking up the pass.
Carson Clark was just looking downfield there, but unable to connect. It's going to try to do it more this game.
2nd and 10 for Bishop Luers, deep in their own territory after taking the touchback on the kickoff. Homestead in man coverage, handoff to Sir Hale, and he is stuffed in the backfield. Eben Person getting the tackle.
And Homestead's line of linebackers doesn't stop. Jackson Chrisman and Evan Person working together to bring down the guy.
And this brings up another third down where the Homestead defense was unable to stop the Luers offense on their first drive.
Bishop Luers converts half of their third down conversions heading into this game at 52.2%. And right now, like you said, Noah, 100% in the early goings. Evan Person looking to blitz for the Spartans. And he does. Carson Clark drops back, pocket collapses. Quick throw to Antoine Lake. It's complete, and another first down for Bishop Luers. Carson Clark converts again.
What a smart play by Carson Clark, running it up, showing that he's going to do a QB sneak. As you see the pocket collapse, and he goes around, sees Matt Miller, and unleashes to Antoine Lake. What a smart play by the smart quarterback.
Clark looking really strong in this game while they're trying to go up-tempo like they did on the first drive.
2:43 left in the first tie game. Both teams so far on the offensive end showing no fault in this first quarter. Carson Clark barking his signals. Drops back to pass. Steps up and throw deflected. Great play there by Jackson.
Jackson Chrisman, one of the best players in the SAC. He leads the team in sacks.
Orlando Sheets got a hand on
Just
that.
a great play by Homestead's defense.
And that front six has been able to get early pressure, but unable to get any sacks so far. That's the most they've done right there.
That was Orlando Sheets with the deflection. He's out there right now at D end. Carson Clark alone in the backfield. And Homestead in man coverage, the dime package to counter the 5 wide receiver look. Short ball to Antoine Lake. Another screen, and once again getting past the line of scrimmage. Third down coming up.
Another third down. They've been 100%, 4 for 4. Evan Pearson, playing outside linebacker, picks up on this really quickly and just brings him down with the assist of Aaron Wagner.
They're trying to get it out to Lake quickly to see what he could do in space, but that Spartan defense got to him right away.
3rd and 8, Carson Clark looking to get another conversion, and he is looking over to Antoine Lake, who has been his main target so far. Homestead showing blitz on the outside. Throws downfield to Antoine Lake, open, caught, cutting upfield to the 10, touchdown, Bishop Luers. They take the lead again.
And Antoine Lake with his speed, burning past Aaron Wagner, a senior mistake, and Carson Clark throws a beautiful ball right into the bucket of Antoine Lake.
Clark and Lake have connected many times already early in this first quarter, and they're going to be trying to do that for the rest of the game.
Carson Clark and Antoine Lake, like you said, Noah Lancz, they have been on page so far. And already 14 points, if they can get this extra point, will match the total that both Northrop and Concordia could get in their 2 games. It's only the first quarter. Earl Pineda's point after, once again, right down the middle. Bishop Luers gets the lead back. Whole lot of scoring in the early goings. 14-7, Knights up.
What limits you? Too small, too old, insecure, broken. You have no limits. Rethink your limits.
This is the Spartan Online School. Complete coursework anytime, anywhere, meeting work or family obligations. Access many digital activities, lectures, and help from teachers over Zoom. Tasks are fully self-paced, receive assignments on Monday, and turn them in by Friday. The Spartan Online School is tuition-free, and students can graduate with a Core 40 or Academic Honors Diploma, preparing today's learners for tomorrow's opportunities.
14-7, Bishop Luers leads. We have a treat for you. It's looking like a Big 12 game with all this scoring. Raul Pineda out there, the kickoff specialist for Bishop Luers. 12 kickoffs this season, no touchbacks yet. That one goes to about the 30. Max Schultz getting it, and he gets to about the 42-yard line. Homestead is again going to have great field position to start off the drive.
Another kick to Max Schultz, and he knows what to do. Nothing too crazy. Avoids one blocker, gets a couple extra yards jumping over him.
And Homestead has had great field position to start off their drives this game. One at the 41-yard line and the first one at the 47-yard line.
Homestead back out on the field. Des Smith, the running back. And we know that in this game, we're going to see a whole lot of running backs out there against Concordia. Brevin Adams, Brett Fox, all got in there. The 3 and 4 running back, and they looked stupendous in their showing.
And Des Smith Jr. getting a nice easy run. The running backs doing a great job, and Homestead's offensive line has been able to open up a lot of holes. Payne Slavin able to recover after a bad snap, and just some nice, easy yards.
2nd and 6 for Homestead. Slavin in the gun. Luers 2 linebackers, no safeties back. Looking for the run, and that's what comes. Des Smith gets to the first down line. Homestead moving the chains again into Luers territory.
And some quick feet for Desmond Smith, getting past Gio Jimenez, just nice and burning right past him. Heard some whoops from the coaches down on the field.
And Smith's speed and agility has helped him find a lot of open space in this game, and he's already had a lot of rushing yards.
Fresh set of downs for the Spartans. 2 slot receivers and 2 wideouts. Slavin in the gun, drops back, looking towards Anderson, middle field. What a grab by Nate Anderson. Oh, my.
And Jackson McCullough had no chance against Nate Anderson, the Western Michigan recruit, as Slavin hurls this ball, and what a catch by Anderson, jumping over McCullough.
What a way to get into the red zone, and another first down for Homestead. Get the keys out because the Spartans are on a drive right now.
And Anderson on that last play just went up to get that ball. He was being the bigger man, and he won the battle.
Clock with a minute left in the first quarter. Homestead looking to tie things up. Des Smith up the middle, pushing the pile to the 10. Refs finally blow the whistle at about the 9-yard line. Des Smith, he is such a power runner for this team.
And look at Jackson Bell, the senior, pushing him through, pushing Desmond Smith forward. What a great play by the sophomore.
2nd and 7 for Homestead, inching closer and closer to the end zone. Slavin, quick throw to Anderson, and he makes the catch, stopped right where he caught it by Jackson McCullough.
And Slavin, when he's going to throw it to Anderson. That's no surprise. McCullough making up for his mistake, keeping them just short. So that brings the end to the first quarter.
Homestead looking to tie things up on this drive. For now, Luers leads 14-7 after 1 quarter of play, and we have a ball game. Second quarter starting up. Luers leads 14-7. We're going to go down to Carly Flanagan on the sideline.
Hey Brayden, so as you can see behind me, we are at a full capacity of student section members, and this is the second time we've had it since October of 2019, and as you can see, we are in full Hawaiian attire. I talked to a few of the football players, and they said that hearing the cheering from the stands last week was such an amazing feeling since October of 2019, and they will never forget that feeling, and they're so excited to continue it for the rest of the season.
Thank you, Carly. And so far, Homestead about to go down the field, try and tie this game up, and they're looking good on this drive so far. A penalty on that first play is 3rd down with about 6 yards to gain for Homestead. Slavin in the gun. Takes the snap in, another whistle blown. And by the looks of it, this is going to be yet another false start.
And that's not what you want to see for Homestead. They go from 3rd down and 1 to now 3rd down and long.
And those are the type of things that really cost you the game sometimes. They are huge penalties, literally and figuratively, to your team.
And now it's gone from a potential touchdown to just trying to keep the drive alive on 3rd and 11. This has been quite the offensive showdown so far. Carson Clark has himself a touchdown. R.J. Hogue, the running back for Luers, also with one. And Des Smith got himself a touchdown as well. And he gets the pass here, the screen. He's got open space to the corner. Touchdown, Homestead. The Spartans tie it up.
What a great read option for Peyton Slavin. Throwing it, turning to his left, throwing to a wide open Des Smith who had nothing but space.
And we didn't see Des Smith where he gets that catch right there and just has free space all the way to the end zone as Slavin rolled out to his right and threw it back to his left. And Smith was able to get it in from the 13-yard line.
Perfectly executed halfback slip screen. And Cameron Jarrett lining up for the PAT to tie it up. Snap good, hold good. PAT lobbed right down the middle. And just like that, 10 seconds into the second quarter, Spartans tie it up 14-all.
Great drive.
What limits you? Too small, too old, insecure, broken. You have no limits. Rethink your limits.
You don't plan on getting an injury, so why should you plan ahead to care for one? At OrthoStat, you don't have to. Whether you get hurt on the job or on the field, or if you're experiencing sudden, localized pain, we fix the unexpected. Our walk-in clinics provide emergency access to a full range of diagnostic, non-surgical, and surgical treatments. And the best part is, there's never an appointment or referral needed. So you can get in, get out, and get going. OrthoStat is recognized by Anthem and other insurance plans as an alternative to the ER.
Second quarter coming off the Homestead touchdown to tie things up at 14. Des Smith got himself yet another touchdown in this game. He has looked solid so far. Carter Dixon lining up for the kickoff into the wind. This one to about the 10. First non-touchback of the game. Nick Thompson, the returner, cuts upfield. Carter Dixon to beat, tripped up at the 40-yard line.
Return for Bishop Luers.
And what a return by Nick Thompson.
And Nick Thompson cutting around Homestead, completely blowing by the defense as Austin Keyser is able to catch up with his speed and bring him down, but a huge gain, and now Luers is in really good scoring position.
And there was no way that Carter Dixon was going to be able to keep up with the returner right there as Keyser came in and saved the day for the Homestead Spartans.
Yeah, Dixon did not have the angle, but like you said, Austin Keyser came in to save the day and stop Nick Thompson just short of breaking free. 1st and 10 for Bishop Luers in Homestead territory. Handoff to Sir Hale, cuts to his left, sheds a tackle, and stuffed by a squad of Spartans.
And Homestead, they've done a great job of picking up on the run plays, but it's not until after the run, after Sir Hale gets a couple of yards that the linebackers are able to get in there, something we haven't seen out of Homestead. They've been negative yards leading up to this game, and now Luers is really turning it the other way.
2nd and 6, Sir Hale, he's coming off a big 123-yard game against Wayne last week. He is the primary runner so far, with Aiden Dennis out for a good amount of time with a wrist injury. And there's Carson Clark getting some
the ball carrier,
yards around as well.
At the 35-yard
And great
line.
job
It's a 3-yard
by
pickup.
Max Schills showing the
Third
pressure.
down and
Carter
3
Coop
coming up for Bishop
bringing him
Luers.
over and then forcing Carson Clark to go out of bounds.
And like we talked about in the pregame, that front six is going to be so important, but so far they've been unable to get their hands on Clark as he's been evading all of the pressure.
3rd and 3 for Bishop Luers. Looking to take the lead back after Homestead notched things up at 14 on their last drive. So far, no drive has ended in a 4th down. Hand up the gut to Sir Hale. He's got space. And he gets the first down. Kyle Detweiler making the tackle. Too late as Homestead can't stop Luers from moving them chains.
And Evan Pearson had a great blitz, went all the way around, but Sir Hale was gone. And great job by Kyle Detweiler to pick up the tackle and tackle him from behind.
And the Homestead Spartan defense has been missing many tackles this game. It could be a big problem for them tonight.
And Sir Hale, he has been a bulldozer so far for the Knights. Bishop Luers, they have a stacked group of running backs. Aiden Dennis, he's out right now with a wrist injury. Sir Hale, RJ Hogue, fantastic group of players. Clark drops back, completes a Brody Glenn, cuts up field, and a first down for Bishop Luers.
On the reception,
This is going to be a late hit on Homestead, well out of bounds after the play.
That's a solid throw to Brody Glenn, got wide open on the curl. Yeah, a late hit, a late shove, I should say, on the field.
Really unnecessary there by Person. There's no reason to do that. He was clearly out of bounds, and it's going to cost them half the distance to the goal line.
And this is when the emotions get to the players. And this is Homestead's first big test that they've seen this year. The defense not really finding a way to stop both the run and pass game at the same time. And you can see the emotions are getting to Evan Pearson.
First and goal for Carson Clark again in this Bishop Luers offense. So far, very successful in the early goings. Sir Hale, the running back in the red zone, handoff, can't shed the tackle by Carter Koob. Second and goal coming up.
And something Homestead's done a really great job of is getting their blitzes from the linebackers, letting their linebackers get through. They've just been missing tackles. Carter Koob was able to get one here. He's made his way through and wrapped him up by the legs, but that's something Homestead's been struggling with. They've been really struggling to get their tackles, and that is why they could very well be down 7 in a couple seconds.
Second and goal. Homestead in the goal line package. Sir Hale takes the handoff. Easy touchdown as he hits the end zone standing up. Bishop Luers takes the lead back.
Sir Hale found his way up the middle. Great blocks by Brennan Mitchell and George Boudet as he's able to find his way right into the end zone.
And even though he's 5'7", 155, he's been running like he's Derrick Henry tonight, bulldozing through everyone.
The running game has looked stout so far for Bishop Luers. The PAT for Raul Pineda. Heading into the game, he's 8 for 11, but so far gotten 2 of his first 2 extra points. 70% on the season heading into today, but he is 100 so far, 3 for 3, and Bishop Luers takes the lead back, 21-14.
to go in the second quarter.
Now we're going to look at some scores around the SAC. Noah Lancz, take us through it.
Carroll right now is leading 7-0 against Northside as Becker is back tonight. He was out last week because of COVID contact tracing. Snyder has taken an early lead in the second quarter, 7-0 against Concordia, who played here last week against the Homestead Spartans. Bishop Dwenger is up 10-0 against Southside. Southside got their first win since 2013 against teams other than Wayne or Northrop last week, but it is not looking good for them this week, as the Wayne and Northrop game is stalled so far, still tied through the second quarter.
Nothing really eye-popping so far in these games. Bishop Dwenger already up 10-0 early against Southside, as expected. Carroll Northside, in my mind, that's going to be the game to watch out for. That's a huge game. Other than this, is probably the biggest game in the SAC.
And although Northside is 0-2 going into this game, they have pieces. They have a great overall team. They really threatened Snyder, just one missed kick away. And tonight, they could really put up a fight against Carroll.
Thank you, Noah Lancz, for the studio update. We'll be keeping track on scores around the SAC throughout this ball game, as Luers leads 21-14. Raul Pineda, the kickoff. This time he's kicking with the wind. This one goes much farther than his first 2, and he has his first touchback of the season.
The wind definitely helping there, as well as the low kick bouncing into bouncing to get a touchback, and finally, for the Luers defense, they are gifted good field position and bad field position for Homestead offense.
And a nice line drive kick there by Pineda, while his first few had just been squibs right to Max Schiltz.
Here comes the Spartan offense once again. 2 for 2 in touchdowns on their first 2 drives, as Slavin has led a disciplined and strong-looking Spartan O. Slavin short screen to Gage Sparrow, complete. Sheds a tackler and brought down about 2 yards ahead of the line of scrimmage.
RJ, typically a running back playing linebacker right now, is able to wrap him up.
And there on that last play, Sparrow was just really hesitant to make any move. He had space out there, and if maybe he tried to make a move quicker, he could have done something.
2nd and 6 now for the Spartans. And they really don't have anything to worry about yet. They have been perfect on 3rd down conversions. Both teams have been so far. Brayden Slavin in the gun. Des Smith out there again at running back. 3 receivers stacked to the left side. Handoff to Smith to the strong side. And he follows his blockers to a 1st down.
Well-designed play for Homestead, having 3 wide receivers act as blockers all the way out. You see Homestead very heavy on the left side. Just offensive line, wide receivers, anybody, you can name it, pushing to just give Desmond Smith a path to the 1st down.
In a very unlikely sight that we just saw there, Homestead had to rush the snap there.
Spartans back into their regular formation. 2 wide receivers to each side. Handoff to Smith again. And this time he is stopped by R.J. Hogue, the defensive end, getting to the other side of the field, making the tackle.
R.J. Hogue, he's quick, he's speedy, and look at him going around Homestead's entire offensive line and wrapping up Smith from behind.
He just runs out there unblocked. It's pretty easy to make a tackle when no one's trying to stop you.
So far, both of these running backs between these 2 teams, Sir Hale and Desmond Smith, have looked phenomenal in the first half. Throw to Gage Sparrow, complete for another 1st down. Gage Sparrow, other than Nate Anderson, he is a priority target for Peyton Slayton. With the last 2 receptions he's had, you can see why.
And he's so good at running these short curl routes, these short in routes. That's where Slavin loves to look for him. Just get these nice, easy 5 to 10 yard plays, and that's all Gage Sparrow's need for, because Nate Anderson is always a threat deep.
Spartans moving quickly down the field, hurrying things up a little bit. Handoff to Des Smith again. Fake handoff and a little triple option to Gage Sparrow. Got caught off guard there a little bit. A little too focused on Des Smith. You don't see the triple option many times for Homestead, but when they do pull it out, it usually catches defenses off guard.
And Homestead, they've run a lot more trickier plays this game. That's probably their 4th time running a triple option, something we haven't seen out of Coach Zolman this year.
2nd and 2 for Homestead. Different formation for the Spartans. Des Smith, handoff up the gut. He's got blockers. He's got space. He is gone again. Touchdown, Spartans. Des Smith is having himself a game.
Des Smith Jr. with his speed, running up the middle, going behind his blockers, and finding his way to the end zone. What a night for Smith.
And we see him just get through the first 6 of the defense as he cuts it down the field, makes the tackler miss, and he's gone, and he's too quick for anyone to catch right there.
And great blocks by both Max Schiltz and Mason Auxier, picking up the backfield of Bishop Luers, allowing Des Smith to go all the way.
And that is the 2nd touchdown on the ground for Des Smith. This BAT low, but in for Cameron Jarrett. He remains perfect on the year. And Homestead ties things up again, 21-21. This has been quite the offensive showing so far.
What limits you? Too small, too old, insecure, broken. You have no limits. your limits.
Spartans tie things up at 21 all after yet another Des Smith touchdown on the ground. Long gain for number 4. The Spartans kicking off to give it back to the Luers offense. Another touchback for Carter Dixon. Claps his hands. He's proud of that one. That's his third touchback of the game. And here comes Carson Clark and this fiery Luers offense.
Carson Clark and Sir Hale have done so well this game so far, always keeping the Homestead defense on edge, not knowing where they're going to go. And also, Antoine Lake has been there on the deep balls, being the Nate Anderson for Bishop Luers.
And their fast-paced, fast-tempo offense has really been catching Homestead off guard tonight. They've not been used to it, and they haven't seen it so far.
So far, Carson Clark, Sir Hale, Antoine Lake, they've looked unstoppable in the early goings. Both offenses really have been relentless. 1st and 10 at the 20 for Carson Clark in this offense. Drops back. Pressure coming. Scrambles upfield. Sheds a tackler. And it is Max Schultz who finally makes the tackle on number 10. He's been scrambling a few times so far, and that's just yet another successful improvisation.
Max Schultz has been out for blood tonight. His heart hits right there, shaking up Carson Clark a little bit. He's doing what the rest of the Homestead defense can't do, and that is make a tackle.
2nd and 1, only 1 yard for a first down for Bishop Luers. Sir Hale still the running back out there for the Knights. Carson Clark looking to his sideline as head coach Kyle Lindsley barking orders to his quarterback, and they're going to call a timeout as the play clock winded down.
Called by Bishop Luers.
And finally, both teams are going to get a little bit of rest. Feels like the defense and the offense, they've just been out the whole game. Neither side has really gotten much rest.
And that timeout looked like it came because of some miscommunication by Clark and his head coach there. They didn't seem to know what they were running, and the wide receivers on the outsides were very confused.
And this game was rated the outside the huddle game of the week heading into Friday night, and it has lived up to the expectations. If you love offense, if you love high scoring, well, you gotta be in love with this game.
And this is very, very surprising, as Homestead had by far the best defense in the SAC going into this game. At least rated Blitz said that this game would be a low-scoring one. It would just be a test between Luers offense and Homestead defense. But it has been just a test of offense versus offense at this point, as neither defense has been able to get a single stop.
And it's going to come down to who can get that stop first, as we haven't seen one like you just said, Anthony.
Carson Clark, he's leading a fantastic offense right now. Coach Lindsley's quote on the quarterback: Carson Clark has made many strides as a quarterback in the 3 years as anyone I've ever coached. And it has everything to do with his consistent approach to getting better every day on the field, in the weight room, and in film study. Carson Clark, he is the ideal quarterback to lead this Bishop Luers offense, and so far he's been showing off his skills.
And he's only a junior. Let's just remember that Carson Clark is only a junior. He played great at the end of his sophomore year. The SAC is stuck with him for another year after this.
And this offense is looking great even without Aiden Dennis, who was voted the Fan Choice Prep Player of the Year in the preseason. And even without him, Sir Hale, RJ Hogue, those two running backs, they have been leading the ground game, and they've been doing a great job through the first 2 weeks of the season and in this one so far.
And Antoine Lake got the reception there again. Carson Clark's favorite target, easy, quick slant route for a first down.
1st and 10 for Bishop Luers. Clark looking over to the sideline to coach Kyle Lindsay. 57 and 49 in 9 years as the Knights head coach. Especially recently, they have had quite the amount of success. Sir Hale up the right side. Solid gain.
Sir Hale going around the outside. It's not till Isaac Barkus finally gets in there and trips him up. Homestead, they've got to start making their tackles, and I cannot say this enough. If they can't make their tackles, Sir Hale is just going to run through them all night long.
And that's really been the story of this defense so far, missed tackles, and that has led to a lot of opportunities for this Bishop Luers offense.
2nd and 3 for the Knights. Carson Clark spending a lot of time talking to his sideline before each play. Each drive proving to be as important as the last. Sir Hale, he's got some space, cuts up field, and another first down for Bishop Luers.
Brendan Mitchell, the offensive lineman, he's had himself a night. The right guard getting a great block on Matt Miller, allowing for so much space of Sir Hale, and that's definitely been a big part of Luers' success tonight, is the offensive line has done their job stopping Homestead's front three.
And Brody Glenn also had a great block there on the outside. You don't see it often, but he had a pancake block as a wide receiver.
And in regards to the Spartan defense, this is a very undersized offensive line for Bishop Luers. You mentioned Brendan Little. He's 5'8", 200 pounds, and they are still working this Spartan defense. An incomplete. Antoine Lake almost made another fantastic grab. In the first quarter, he had himself a one-handed catch, but he couldn't haul this one in.
Carson Clark with a great read to Antoine Lake. He just couldn't hold on, and great play by Aaron Wagner pushing him out of bounds.
We saw him get burned earlier for that deep touchdown that Clark connected on with Lake in the first quarter, but there he's able to get the stop.
2nd and 10 for Bishop Luers. This is amazing offense. The Knights have 501 yards per game heading into this one, and it looks like they're on pace to maybe even raise that yards per game stat. Screen to Sir Hale as he gets himself a first down and into the red zone again. Bishop Luers refuses to slow down.
Is Nelson Kanapke able to pick up this block on Kyle Detweiler? Sir Hale getting an extra 5 yards, and it looked like things were getting a little bit chippy after the play between Kyle Detweiler and Nelson Kippy. Homestead players and Luers players having to pull them apart from each other.
Heading into this game, the intensity of practice, Coach Zolman said in his interview, was intense. Every practice, Homestead knew how serious this game was, and right now you can see the tensions flaring. Another handoff to Sir Hale. Sheds a tackle or another one, and finally it takes 3 or 4 Spartans to knock him down. Noah Lancz, earlier you said he was like Derrick Henry, and I'm starting to believe you.
Yeah, right there. It looked like he broke 5 or 6 tackles, and it took 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Spartans just to get him down.
And Evan Pearson and Max Schultz, 2 of the best linebackers in the SAC, not able to bring this young Derrick Henry down.
2nd and 3, Luers again inside the 10. 100% touchdown conversion rate in this game in the red zone for the Knights. Clark, handoff to Sir Hale, and this time the Spartan defense able to stop him. And Max Schultz hobbles up after tripping Sir Hale up in the backfield. Jacob Scavo coming in on this third down.
And Max Schultz is holding his stomach. Looks like he took a hard hit to his abdomen. Jacob Scavo coming in, and that's one thing to note. Jacob Scavo, he is a good backup. He could even be a starter on the Homestead team. He's probably the hardest hitter in that linebacker group.
3rd and 3, Devon coming in, and a quick grab and touchdown for Brody Glenn. Bishop Luers takes the lead back.
And Ethan Dormsby, the senior DB, was not ready at all, couldn't even make a play on it. Great play by Carson Clark and Bishop Luers, and Homestead's defense continues to struggle.
I don't even know what Dorsey was looking at right there. He just let him run right past him for the easy connection for a touchdown.
And Brody Glenn, he is a fantastic player for this Bishop Luers offense. Last week, 5 receptions, 104 yards, and a touchdown, and there's his first touchdown of this game, as he is clearly on pace to be one of the best wide receivers in the conference. Raul Pineda's extra points up and good. Bishop Luers takes the lead back 28-21, and both teams just refuse to stop scoring. .54 left in the second. Luers leads 28-0. Now we're going to do a studio update with Noah Lancz.
Last time we checked in, Carroll was winning 7-0, but now they've extended that lead 21-0. We thought Northside might have had a chance this game, but now it's not looking like that. The Snyder-Concordia game still remains 7-0 in the second quarter, while Dwenger has extended their lead by 8 points to make it 18-0 against Southside. Wayne and Northrop finally have someone score in that game. Northrop gets the early lead in the second quarter, 7-0.
I'm a little embarrassed about my prediction in the radio pregame show of Northside beating Carroll. It's looking like it's not going to go that way unless they pull a UCF and come back down 21-0 like the Knights did last night against Boise State. But I don't think that's happening in this game.
And this shows that Carroll is just such a better team with Jeff Becker at quarterback. Last week they struggled against Snyder, and now they're blowing out Northside.
Raul Pineda's kickoff into the end zone again. Second touchback. Both Dixon and Pineda practically in a battle for who can get the most kickoffs into the end zone. Dixon leads 3-2 right now.
And talk about a battle, not just on the special teams, but the entire game has been a battle. On offense, it's been a battle between Slavin and Clark, who can have the best throws. It's been a battle between Sir, Hale, and Desmond Smith Jr. on who's the better running back. And on defense, there's been no battle at all because both defenses have been flattened by offenses.
And here comes the Homestead offense. Peyton Slavin leading the charge at the 20-yard line for the Spartans.
And you got to wonder, when are they going to let Slavin throw the ball up? They've been running it all game long, triple options. When are they going to let him unleash his arm?
Slavin, they'll let him throw here to Gage Sparrow on the screen. Cuts up the middle of the field and brought down hard on the play. But not before
7 or 8 yard pickup, second down
an
coming up for
8-yard
Homestead.
pickup.
Amari Bates was the one that was finally able to get the tackle. Gage Sparrow, this is what he does best. He is so reliable on those 5 to 10 yard plays. Always a great option, and he's shifty and he's quick, very similar to Des Smith Jr.
2nd and 2 for Homestead. Handoff to Des Smith.
Des Smith Jr., the ball
He
carrier.
gets upfield for the first down.
Pick up about
Solid
4 or 5
outside
yards. It's a
handoff
first
to number
down
4
for the
there.
Spartans.
That's all Homestead needed. All they needed was a first down. And now on a 1st and 10 with quite a few yards to go, I say you let Slavin throw it deep. Isaac Barkus, the tall senior, is coming into the game, normally playing safety, but he's had his fair share of time on offense.
And it really is a great time to take a shot deep. Luers doesn't have anyone as safety right now.
1st and 10 for the Spartans. Outside handoff to Smith again to the same side, and Luers read that one like a book. Gio Jimenez making
4-yard pickup.
And you can see Luers, they're bringing everybody and their mother over at Slavin and Des Smith Jr. You have to wonder, why didn't Slavin not throw it deep to Nate Anderson?
And it looks like Des Smith hurt his knee right there. If you looked at that replay, it looked like his left leg just got pinched between the ground and the defender. Now he's on the sideline trying to walk it off.
Now Cam Johnson coming in at running back for the Spartans. 2nd and 6. Cam Johnson, he looked great in week 1 against Northrop. Got a solid amount of time in that Week 1 performance. He gets the handoff here, tripped up, but not before a solid gain. 3rd and short coming up for Homestead.
Homestead has a very deep running back core. And they also have Brett Fox on the sideline. Seeing Desmond Smith go down is not what you want, but Cam Johnson is a great sophomore backup. Brett Fox is another great sophomore backup, both so fast, so shifty.
And like you were saying, they have a great depth at the running back position. It looks like they'll be set for the future years.
3rd and 3 for Homestead. Both these teams yet to fail a 3rd down conversion. Slavin up the gut on the fake. The QB draw gets just to the line to gain. Will they give him the first down? It looks like they might, and they
Barely a first down, the closest any team has been to not getting a 3rd down conversion so far. But Slavin ran his head up the middle, and now another first down. You got to beg the question, is he going to go to Nate Anderson at the top of your screen? It is a one-on-one matchup against Nick Thompson. I don't see why you don't.
And the clock's ticking with 90 seconds left in the 2nd quarter. Dangerous throw to Gage Sparrow, gets it to him, threads the needle, and a first down for Homestead. It was a slightly dangerous pass, but he got it to him.
That's a first down for Homestead.
And that ball almost picked off, but fitting right through the window between the DB and Gage Sparrow. Great pass by Slavin.
And usually you see Homestead go at a quick pace, but right now it looks like they're going to try to take this drive to halftime.
70 seconds left. If Homestead can get a touchdown here, they get the ball to start off the 2nd half and would have the opportunity to have control. Deep ball to Gage Sparrow over his head, incomplete. Jackson McCullough there to help stop that one from turning into a touchdown. 2nd and 10 as the clock stops with 62 seconds left in the half.
Great coverage by Jason McCullough. The ball slightly overthrown by Slavin, and you got to wonder, I'm just going to keep bringing it up. Why isn't he throwing to Nate Anderson? There's not much time left. You have to throw the ball. Why isn't he throwing it to his highly recruited Western Michigan commit wideout?
Nate Anderson far off to the left side. If he's going to throw downfield, Nate Anderson on that sideline, that's exactly where he loves to throw it deep. Slavin, play action. Throw again to Gage Sparrow, complete as he slides down ahead of the first down marker. Moves the chains again.
A risky play, throwing it right over Max Schiltz's head, but Schiltz, knowing the pass was not intended for him, a veteran captain move and letting the ball settle right into Sparrow's hands.
And Slavin, when he's been going to Sparrow, has been threading the needle.
Hurry up offense for Homestead as the clock rolls. Down 7, Slavin scans the field, throws to Sparrow again, in and out of the hands. Gage Sparrow couldn't get both paws on it. 2nd and 10. Coming right up for Homestead with the 43 seconds left.
That the initial target wasn't there for Slavin. He had to quickly throw it just in front of Gage Sparrow on the in route.
And you wonder right now if Anderson is being the primary focus to stop on defense, and that's why Slavin has not been going to him.
2nd and 10 for Homestead. Down 7, looking to tie things up as this first half about to come to a close. Finds Anderson this time, cuts up field and makes the grab and first down for Homestead. Whistle blown, time out for the Spartans.
And good call by Homestead to call a timeout. They still have 2 more. Maybe a chance for Homestead to get one run in, get a first down, call another timeout, and have a little bit time left. Bishop Luers, they knew what they were doing on that last play. They had 2 guys covering Nate Anderson, but Gage Sparrow picking up the block, freeing a little bit of space for Nate Anderson, and was able to get him open for Anderson to run 8 yards.
And Anderson finally able to get the ball in his hands as it was just a quick pass. And you can see what he does when he has the ball in his hands. He finds space and gets great yardage.
This is a huge drive for Homestead. If they get a touchdown here, not only do they tie things up, but assuming Luers wouldn't have enough time to go down and score a touchdown of their own, Spartans would then get the ball to start off the second half, and suddenly the game would be in their hands, as if they score on that first drive, they would have the 7-point lead that Luers has had throughout this game when they score.
And you can tell this is going to be a race to the finish if inevitably, if Homestead, if they can get that 7-point lead throughout the second half, because it looks like no defense is able to get a stop. If they can have that 7-point lead, it's going to be a down-to-the-wire event for Bishop Luers.
This game right here is a true Friday night game, just a shootout.
35 seconds left, ball at the 34. Cam Johnson still out there running back for Homestead. Schultz in motion, handoff to Cam Johnson. He is stuffed in the backfield by German. And another timeout forced by Coach Zolman and the Spartans.
And this sets up the first 4th down of the game. And what is the play for Coach Zolman? Does he go for it on 4th down, or does he take the quick 3 points, still allowing 28 seconds left for Carson Clark?
And Homestead right now, they're 20% on 4th down conversion. So if they go for it here, the stats certainly aren't on their side. And with Carter Dixon practicing his kicks a little bit during this timeout, they may very well go to number 46 to just get them to 3 points and make it a 4-point game.
And it looks like Desmond Smith is back in the huddle there. While he was going over there, he's limping a little bit. So it'll be interesting to see how that affects him in the rest of this game.
And I think it might affect the Homestead defense a little bit, as Desmond Smith Jr., he is a flip side player. He plays running back on offense, corner on defense. It's most likely that we are going to see DB Jacob Hayes come into the game, who played great backup for Aaron Wagner last year.
And actually Desmond Smith is back out there at running back. Running back coach John Quintana, confident in Desmond Smith's ability to go back out there on 4th and 4. Huge conversion here. Luers stacking the house, and that is a penalty you don't want on 4th and 4. False start, and it looks like Homestead may be forced to do the field goal here.
And right now, it looks like Zolman's going to stick with it. The play might change, though. It might change from a running play with Desmond Smith back into the game to a pass to Nate Anderson, or the 5 to 10 yard route specialty, Gay Sparrow.
And it would be about a 48-yarder from here, but it does not seem like they want to kick into the wind.
Carter Dixon in practice, he has gotten a 50-yarder so far this season. This is in his range, but Coach Zolman willing to take the risk on 4th and 9. Slavin drops back, pocket collapsing, scrambles. He's got some space, throws well above the line of scrimmage, and incomplete. Bishop Luers gets the huge stop on 4th down, and with 21 seconds, they can very well kneel down and have the lead at halftime.
If you're Bishop Luers, though, with the way the Homestead defense has been playing, there is no reason for you to kneel down here. Let Carson Clark throw it deep, get one shot at the end zone for one final play of the half, and possibly get a 2-possession lead.
And they still have 2 timeouts remaining with 21 seconds. There's definitely time to do something here. Quick throws to get first downs and try to spike it quickly will help them also to stop that clock.
Carson Clark, his 2 interceptions this year have come on deep balls that were forced, and if they're going to decide to throw deep bombs here on this final drive of the half, he could very well find himself in an interception, and you do not want that. You do not want Homestead to have the ball back. It looks like they're going to safely hand off to Sir Hale. He's got space, sheds a tackle by Nate Anderson, cuts up field, and he is down at the 41-yard line. 13.7 seconds left. Time out for Bishop Luers, and that is huge as Luers gets closer and closer to field goal range.
And Homestead, they ran something risky, and it showed. They put Nate Anderson into the game to defend the deep ball, the best catcher on Homestead, and that really hurt them. Bishop Luers doing the smart play, running the ball, and Nate Anderson, not experienced on defense, was not able to get the tackle, allowing for 10 extra yards for Sir Hale.
And that was truly a great play call right there. The draw run play. It deceives the defense to think that they're going to throw it at first, and then they hand it off. And Sir Hale, so quick, so fast, so powerful, is able to get great yardage for the Luers.
And Homestead was 3 men deep on that play, well into the dime package. They were not ready for a run, like you said, Noah. And Sir Hale, who has been dominant so far, took advantage the whole way. He had wide open space to that far side.
And it looks like Homestead, they're going to walk out with their typical lineup in. Kyle Detweiler, Austin Keyser at strong safety.
And right now they're missing one of their cornerbacks as Desmond Smith is getting checked out over on a table. He is usually on defense right now, but he is not.
And he's replaced by Ethan Dorsey, the senior corner, playing backup.
1st and 10, can Bishop Luers get in field goal territory? Clark drops back, throw it downfield. He's got his man. Cuts upfield, he may have a touchdown here. He does! Huge touchdown play by Brody Glenn. And Bishop Luers, just like that, the whole dynamic of this game changes.
And Ethan Dorsey, that's the second time today he's gone beaten on a route and it resulting in a touchdown. You can see the mismatch. Ethan Dorsey not used to playing very much, and you can see without Desmond Smith Jr., the Homestead secondary is even worse than they were earlier in this game.
And Clark right there, able to find the weak spot in that zone right in between Dorsey and Detweiler.
And that is a disaster for the Spartans. They go from inside Luers territory with looking like they could score a touchdown to giving up a touchdown about 30 seconds. Extra point good by Raul Pineda. And just like that, Bishop Luers leads 14 over the Spartans. That is a huge touchdown.
What limits you? Too small, too old, insecure, broken. You have no limits. Rethink your limits.
Bishop Luers scored on that last drive, and it was a huge touchdown. Pushes this game to a 2-possession ball game with just 6.8 seconds left in the first half. That touchdown may go on to a huge one to decide this game.
And that was just blown coverage by Ethan Dorsey, and then Kyle Detweiler not being able to make the tackle was just the icing on the cake. If Homestead, it's most likely Homestead's going to need this one out, as Peyton Slavin doesn't have as strong of an arm as Carson Clark.
Raul Pineda kicking into this strong win that has knocked down several of the papers here in this press box. Another touchback for Raul Pineda.
1st down and 10 for the Spartans.
Yeah, 1st down for Homestead, and the last time that they were out on the field, it looked like they were going to get themselves a touchdown, tie this one up. But just like that, goes from a possible tie game to now down 14.
And that's not what you want to see if you're Coach Zolman. And another thing you don't want to see is what was going on the sideline. Max Schiltz, Eben Pearson, Jackson Chrisman, and Matt Miller, 4 very experienced seniors, 4 of the best players on the defense, all in a 4-way argument. And if you're Coach Zolman, you want to break that up fast. You want to get them in the right mindset.
Homestead, they really haven't found themselves in this kind of situation. Down at the half by 14 as Bishop Luers gets the pressure on the Spartans.
Carly.
And now we're going to go down to sideline reporter Carly Flanagan with Coach Zolman.
Thanks, Brayden. Coach, unfortunately, your team is trailing behind. What do you think you can do to slow down Bishop Luers in the second half?
That's the question. We're going to go make some adjustments and hopefully come out and play a little bit better defense and kind of shot ourselves in the foot on offense, too. So we got to take care of some mistakes.
Okay, thank you. Good luck in the next half.
Thank you, Carly. Homestead down 14 after one half of play. We'll be right back with the OPS halftime show.
Rethink your limits.
Marco's Pizza, located at 10345 Illinois Road, inside the shops of Scott Road. Marco specializes in pizza, subs, and more. Order online at marcos.com or by phone at 625-6800. Thank you, Marcos, for supporting the Point 91 FM and being a proud sponsor of Homestead Media's athletics coverage.
And welcome to the OPS halftime report. Bishop Luers leads 35-21 after 24 minutes of play. And looking at some scores in the SAC, we'll take things to Noah Lancz, who's going to walk you through them.
Carroll is still winning 21-0 against Northside in the second quarter here. Snyder again increasing their lead by 7 points, now up 14-0 against Concordia. Dwenger also increasing the score by 7, now leading 25-0. However, the Wayne and Northrop game is still 7-0, Northrop leading. There's not much going on in that one.
And you can't be surprised with this game being the game of the week in the SAC. Shutout, 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 shutout. And then here, 35-21. This is proving to be the game that lives up to the hype.
It's an offensive showdown. All the other ones have been pretty defensive so far.
Thank you, Noah Lancz, for that report on the scores in the SAC. And now we're going to take things down to the Spartan Alliance Marching Band with their performance of This Is Sparta.
Jazz, Winter Guard, and Winter Percussion. The Homestead Band program has received numerous state and national recognition over the past 50 years, including the prestigious International Sudler Shield Award. Ladies and gentlemen, the Homestead Spartan Alliance Band.
You enjoyed that part of the Homestead Spartan Alliance Band's performance of This Is Sparta. Welcome to the OPS halftime report. Bishop Luers up 35-21 over Homestead, and looking at the first half stats, it has been an offensive showcase for both teams. Look at Bishop Luers, already past 350 yards.
It's so incredible just thinking about how much defensive anticipation there was going into this game for Homestead, and just what Bishop Luers has done to that defense. That so-called stellar defense is just not showing up tonight.
And Luers already has over 150 rushing yards in this game. That is very unlikely to be allowed by this Homestead defense until now.
And you look at how clean both of these offenses have been so far. Turnovers nil for both these squads, and really they've both been working both facets of the game, as you don't see this often, but Homestead over 100 yards in rushing, over 100 yards in passing, and the same exact thing for Bishop Luers. Offense, offense, offense. You could go on for days about how this game has been. It's beautiful to watch.
And if you were to cover up half of your screen, you'd think, oh my goodness, that team, the team you're seeing on your screen, they are winning a blowout. You could say the same for Homestead, for Bishop Luers, but both of them are just non-stop on offense.
And neither has been making any mistakes this game, as both teams have 0 turnovers. We've seen Clark try to force it into tight coverage earlier this season, but he's done well to stay away from that tonight.
And the big difference maker that you see between these two is fourth down conversions. Homestead 0 for 2 in that first half. They just could not get things to go their way in the clutch, and that last fourth down conversion was the one that was the huge factor in the first half, as Homestead went from possibly tying the game and getting into the red zone to turning the ball over on fourth down, and then Carson Clark and Sir Hale led the offense right down the field to score a touchdown that made this a 2-possession game.
And that is where the frustration settled in for the Homestead players. They were frustrated. The offense wasn't able to do it, and then the defense, who had been struggling all night long, let up a huge touchdown. Just not what you wanted to see.
And Bishop Luers got the ball with 21 seconds left in the half on that drive, and they scored with 6.8 seconds. They drove down the field in 2 plays, gaining 70 yards in 2 seconds.
Those were your first half stats, and when you think of impact players so far through the first 24 minutes, in my mind, you go to 2 players, actually let's say 3 players from Bishop Luers. You go to Carson Clark, Sir Hale, and Antoine Lake. They have been dominating for the Knights so far.
And don't forget about Brody Glenn with 2 touchdowns on the night. Although those are his only 2 receptions, he has 2 touchdowns. Just playing nonstop, and a player that I think really needs some attention on Homestead's defense is Jackson Chrisman, and not because he's played great, but because he's done nothing.
And that defensive line has really done nothing, all of them as a unit. That front 6 included with them has not done anything this game. While they have been effective in the games past, they haven't been able to stop the Bishop Luers Saints.
And now looking at scores in the SAC, Noah, what do we have here?
We see that Carroll has gained another 6 points and taken it to 27-0, still in the second quarter, while the Snyder game is now in the third quarter, and they lead 21-0 against Concordia. Dwenger also in the second quarter, now up 32-0 against Southside. And the game that has stayed the same in the score has gone to halftime. Northrop 7, Wayne 0, as we still see those 4 shutouts in 4 games.
And still, all 4 games other than this one are shutouts. And I'm pretty disappointed in myself for picking Northside now, as the lead only grows wider and wider for Carroll. You have to be impressed with how the Chargers are playing, bouncing back after a very disappointing loss to Snyder. And right now they're showing their emotions on the field, absolutely dominating over the Legends.
And you have to be very impressed with your thought process for thinking that Northside had a really good shot in this game. Carroll is just blowing them out.
And Jeff Becker is showing why he is considered one of the best quarterbacks in the SAC. Even though he wasn't there last week, Carroll's already almost scored as many points as last week.
Thank you, Noah Lancz, for that report and scores around the SAC. We'll be right back as we approach closer and closer to the kickoff of the second half. Bishop Luers up 35-21. The halftime report will continue after these messages.
What limits you? Too small, too old, insecure, broken. You have no limits. Rethink your limits.
And now we're going to go down to Carly Flanagan during this OPS halftime report with Mr. Warfield, the director of the Spartan Alliance Band.
Thank you, Brayden. And Mr. Warfield, your show this year is This is Sparta. What was the inspiration and how has practicing this year gone for your season?
So the inspiration, it's a show idea that was actually pretty old, and it's something that we've been talking about for a few years, and this year seemed like the perfect year to do it. As far as practices, it's been pretty great. It's a little challenging with COVID and quarantines and having to deal with close contact and everything, but the kids have been great so far this year. We compete next Saturday for the first time in 2 years, so we're all really excited and get ready to go.
And so next week you start your competition season at Lawrence North. What is the goal for the marching band this year?
The goal is to be great. We've had 50 really good groups come to this program, so band number 50 wants to be better than the 50 groups that came before us and keep the legacy on time.
Okay, thank you, and good luck next week with your season against Lawrence North. Brayden, back to you.
Thank you, Carly. Homestead Alliance Marching Band, not only one of the best bands in the state historically, but in the nation as well. And as we get set for kickoff of the second half, guys, what are the keys to the game for Homestead to come back down 14 and make this one a ball game?
I think the biggest key of the game for Homestead is not to score on offense. Obviously, it's for them to start doing something on defense. The secondary needs work, but it's mainly Jackson Chrisman, Johnny Waddell, and Matt Miller that need to get going. Those front three cannot get past this undersized Luers offensive line.
And that Homestead defense has yet to get a stop so far in this game. And we saw how important that was for Bishop Luers as they were able to turn that stop into a two-possession game going into the half.
And so far, Bishop Luers, they've only had to turn to Raul Pineda or Brody Glenn for PATs. They have not had to worry about field goals. They haven't had to worry about punts. Their offense just refuses to slow down, refuses to give a single inch, and it has been all Bishop Luers when it comes to the offense versus the defense.
And this Bishop Luers team is just going to look to continue to get that lead larger and larger. They just came out slinging, and they're going to try to keep on doing that. But Sir Hale has brought the great run game.
And that's a big key, I think, for Luers. They have to just keep handing the ball off to Sir Hale. Let him work his magic, because whatever he's doing is working well. None of the Homestead linebackers, defensive ends, no tackles, strong safeties, or safeties can stop him.
And not only does the defense have to step up for Homestead, but also the offense. They cannot give up any more of these fourth down stops that Bishop Luers is getting on them. Peyton Slavin, Desmond Smith, Gage Sparrow, Nate Anderson, they've all looked fantastic in the early goings, but Homestead, they have to step it up even farther, even one notch higher than they did in that first half, which is quite the tall order. But Bishop Luers, with how good their offense is at putting points on the board, they have to just never stop, never slow down, and never give up.
And I think for Homestead's offense, what they have to do is let Slavin throw it. It's worked out. The only missed deep ball this entire season has been a Gage Sparrow overthrow. The only other incompletions have been dropped catches. He's so good at throwing the deep ball right into Nate Anderson's bucket. Just find Anderson on those post routes, on those streaks, on those corners, and he'll be golden.
And something to watch for the second half on both the offensive and defensive side is the effectiveness of Desmond Smith. We saw him go out after a tackle towards his knee in the first half, and we haven't seen him come in other than the fourth down play. it'll be interesting to see how that affects him and the Spartans on both sides of the ball.
And if they have to turn to guys like Cam Johnson, Brett Fox, and Brevin Adams, it certainly isn't a problem for the Spartans, as we've seen all three of those backups really step up in week 1, week 2. We saw a taste of Cam Johnson against Northrop, and he looked fantastic. Brett Fox against Concordia hit 100 yards rushing. Brevin Adams got himself a touchdown in that game. So really, even though Desmond Smith, it may be questionable to how much time he's going to get on the running back side of things in this game, really Homestead, they have a deep core just like Bishop Luers does at running back. So they can turn to guys like Cam Johnson to get the job done.
And I think they have to turn to Brett Fox. The way he played against Concordia last week is just so impressive. He's played so well in his chances, and I think that's the key to Homestead. Cam Johnson didn't play last week with an injury. He wasn't able to get much going in the one drive he had. Brett Fox is the way to go. He has ridiculous speed and is very comparable to Desmond Smith.
And last week, Fox only had 8 carries, but he was able to get over 100 yards in those 8 carries. Very effective in the run game.
Both running backs really for these two teams, when you look at Des Smith, Cam Johnson versus Sir Hale, it's been quite the battle. It's almost been as good as Peyton Slavin versus Carson Clark. I feel like I'm talking about the offense so much, but that's all that this game has been. It has been offense, 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 with Bishop Luers getting a few 4th down stops here and there. Really, this game, it may come down at the end of the day to who has the ball last.
And it may be, but that's only if Homestead can get a stop, which that is a big if.
And we are getting closer and closer to kickoff of the second half. It'll be Bishop Luers kicking off to the Spartans. Luers up 35-21, second half coming right up.
What limits you? Too small, too old, insecure, broken. You have no limits. Rethink your limits.
Bishop Luers getting ready to kick off. Raul Pineda, who has had 2 touchbacks so far, his first 2 of the season. Student section getting rowdy, looking for a Spartan comeback, down 14. Fresh set of 24 minutes coming up. Kickoff deep into the end zone. Anderson will take the touchback, and here comes the ever-important Spartan offense.
And it is so important that Homestead gets a touchdown on this drive. If they don't, this game might be over.
We saw alien looking figure there. Maybe it was ET, but right now Homestead's going to be looking for an extraterrestrial second half.
1st and 10 for the Spartans. Peyton Slavin looking to lead Homestead to making this a 1-possession game. They will need every drive to go their way from now on.
Slavin looking over to the sideline, trying to find a play. It's Brett Fox is into the game for the Spartans.
And we talked about how he may find himself some minutes. The leading rusher on this team, ready to go. Hand off to Brett Fox, and just like that, he breaks through the line and gets himself a decent gain.
And Brett Fox already, he just one play right there is showing his talents. Look at his speed. Although he was tripped up, getting an extra 3 yards while parallel to the ground. What a play for Brett Fox.
And we saw another low snap there that Slavin was able to get, but that may become a problem if they can't connect.
2nd and 3 for Homestead. Hands off again to Brett Fox to the right side, and he is given a big hit near the sideline by Gio Jimenez. 3rd down coming up, 3rd and 2.
And despite Brett Fox getting hit really hard, he stayed up, looked pretty fine, trying to get a couple extra yards, maybe got 1 more. Great playing there by Brett Fox. He's someone to watch. He's a fun running back to watch out on the field.
And those defensive backs there were just going to stop him no matter what. There is no getting past Jimenez there on that play.
And here's the first 3rd down conversion attempt for Homestead in this second half. They need every drive to turn to a touchdown if they want to keep up with Bishop Luers. Fake sweep to Sparrow, handoff to Fox, and he is stuffed
Fox again on
before
the
he
carry.
can reach the first down marker. That is a huge stop for the Knights.
And that's not what you want to see. They read that like a book, and honestly, if this were college football, this could have been a targeting penalty. Led with the head, rammed into him, and now it's going to be the first punt of the game.
And here comes Carter Dixon, his first punt of the year. Last season, he was 10th in the state of Indiana in yards per punt at 39.6. His longest was 64th. Is the 5th longest in the state that year. And this one is a bomb, and they'll let it bounce. We just talked about a record-breaking punt, and that one is quite the cannon from Carter Dixon. He pumps his fist. He's excited about that one, and he's getting the sideline pumped as well. Look at Carter Dixon, first punt of the season, and it is an absolute rocket.
If the defense can't stop, if the offense can't step up, it's the special teams that will always step up, getting this team amped up. They might have some energy now on the sideline.
And Dixon trying to bring that energy to them, pinning them inside the 20-yard line, giving Luers a bad field position start.
And NASA might end up having to report that absolute bomb of a punt. That one was way up, possibly into the mesosphere.
And an important thing to note is that Johnny Waddell is finally back into the game. He was out the entire second quarter for Toriano Franklin.
And here comes Carson Clark to go up against a fully loaded Spartan defense now. Drops back, looking for the pass to the middle of the field. Incomplete. Was intended for Jaden Hill. 2nd and 10 coming up for the Knights.
And we said Matt Miller and Jackson Christman needed to apply the pressure, and right there they did. Luers lined up with 6 offensive linemen, and they were able to push through, surround Carson Clark, and force him to throw a ball that he normally would not.
2nd and 10 for Luers. Carson Clark and the Knights offense looking towards head coach Kyle Lindsay, looking for the landmark win of the season for his #1 team in Class 2A in both the AP and the media polls. Short pass to Antoine Lake, incomplete, in and out of the hands. Looking for the curl route, which has been working all night long. Not that time.
And look at him coming in, quick turnaround, and just over the head, Carson Clark. Back-to-back bad passes, uncharacteristic, and now a 3rd down. They have been perfect on 3rd down so far this game.
And we'd seen Clark and Lake connect so many times there, but Lake just has it go right through his hands because of the errant pass by Clark.
And this could be a huge game-defying 3rd down. Homestead looking for their first 3rd down stop. Pressure coming from Jacob Scavo, almost intercepted by Carter Koo, but it sails harmlessly to the ground, and just like that, Homestead gets a major stop.
And Homestead, they talked about it at halftime. Look at Jacob Scavo bringing the pressure, almost picked off by Carter Koo. That's the way to do it for Homestead. Their defense is getting excited. Now it's time for the offense.
And that drive there, right there by Luers, is the worst that we've seen tonight. The defense finally able to get a stop. 3 bad throws by Clark and 3 possible interceptions that the Homestead defense were just not able to capitalize on.
Brody Glenn lining up as the punter. He's usually at wide out where he has a touchdown today for the Knights. Instead, he's going to be back there to boot. Low snap. Little half spiraled to Isaac Barkus at about the 44. Signals for the fair catch. And here comes the Spartan offense, looking to have better results than their last drive, which ended in a quick 4th down and punt.
In the same way, we just saw a defense, I believe, if my eyes are not mistaken, a Homestead stop and a Luers stop in the first possessions of the game. I cannot believe my eyes. This high-scoring game might be slowing down a little bit.
Seemingly, the defensive coordinators really got into their defense's heads in the locker room. And here comes another Spartan drive. Sparrow takes the sweep to the right side, cuts to the middle, and knocked down by Colin Jolas, the junior linebacker, making the stop.
And Gage Sparrow doing what he normally does, 5 to 10 yard plays, getting up, setting up a 2nd and 5. That's all he needed to do. Now he just got 2 plays to get 5 yards, and it shouldn't be too hard.
2nd and 5 for Homestead. Mason Auxier out there at wide receiver for Homestead. Fake handoff. Slant to Sparrow. Good for about 10 yards and a first down.
Engaged Sparrow always open. He has to be by at least 8 receptions so far this game. He's just getting open on so many short routes. And it's finally brought down, but a first down for the Spartans, and they are creeping slowly towards the end zone.
And he came into this game with only 8 receptions, same as Nate Anderson in this game, but he's going to pass him.
And we talked about the connection in the pregame between Peyton Slavin and Nate Anderson, but so far it's looked like Slavin and Sparrow in this game, and their connections in the short to mid-game have looked astonishingly well. And now Slavin will go deep to Anderson. Almost caught it, and a flag thrown. Pass interference on Bishop Luers, and Nick Thompson cannot believe it.
And that is a controversial call. There looked like some hands were exchanged before the play. I don't know. I'm going to say I agree with the pass interference call, getting in Nate Anderson's way before he could even make a play on the ball.
But that right there is why you take deep shots in the game. Nate Anderson's either going to come down with it or he's going to draw a flag as we see Slavin throw it deep. It looks like it's broken up, but the PI is called.
The PI was before the ball reached Nate Anderson's hands.
And that was a close one. Nick Thompson, tight defense, a little too tight for the referees. And now a first down inside the 25 for Homestead. And that is a huge penalty to get Homestead down the field. Slavin in the gun. Brett Fox, the running back. Fake sweep. Now Fox up the middle, and he is stuffed by the defensive line as he does not get much on that run.
Bishop Luers was able to pick up on that like a book, not hand it off to Sparrow, and just able to come in. He was number 79, the big guy on Bishop Luers to make the stop.
And we've seen Homestead have a wide receiver come from a slot position, run across the formation on many of these plays. It's been Sparrow and Schultz doing so.
Now 2nd and 9 for Homestead. Slavin looking towards the sideline to head coach Chad Zolman. 148-44, the win-loss record in 18 years with Homestead. Quick pass to Sparrow, complete again. These two have been on the money with these short passes. Mason Darian was there to make the tackle.
And the clock's going to keep running. If I'm Homestead, you've got to start taking clock into consideration. I know it's early in the third quarter, but they're down 2 possessions, and the defense just got only their first stop of the game. How much can you rely on them? They've got to start saving some clock.
Huge third down here for Homestead. Last time that they had a third down in Luers territory, ended in a 4th down and then a 4th down stop. Hands off to Fox. He's got space inside the 10. Cut, zip to the end zone. Touchdown Spartans, and this is a ball game again.
That is the elusiveness we were talking about with Brett Fox. Cutting inside, going around all the way out to the numbers, down the hashes, and cuts into the end zone for a touchdown.
And that was one of the greatest cutbacks I've seen. You see him here take it outside. He's at about the 7-yard line and almost stops and avoids True Wallace, breaks his ankles, and takes it to the house.
Antoine Lake and Drew Wallace got rocked, got shaken up. What a play by Brett Fox.
And we might not need to have some OPS health experts out onto the field because their ankles look broken.
And Cameron Jarrett gets the point after. Just like that, Homestead makes it a 1-possession game. Luers still up 35-28, but here come the Spartans.
What limits you? Too small, too old, insecure, broken. You have no limits. Rethink your limits.
The energy level at Dave Walters Memorial Stadium is back after Brett Fox finds himself in the end zone after his second rushing touchdown of the season, and it is a one-possession game again. 35-28, Carter Dixon kicking off to the Knights deep into the end zone, and it is a fair catch. That's his fourth touchback. He's getting the sideline pumped, and we're going to go to some scores in the SAC with Noah Lancz.
And the Snyder game is now at 24-0 in the third quarter. But the Carroll Northside and Dwenger Southside games are still the same as they were before. But Wayne has now scored. It is 6-7. They still trail in the third, but they're finally on the board.
And we finally have a non-shutout in the SAC. That's very exciting. 6-7 Wayne. If they could get this win, getting Northrop to 0-3 would be huge, and getting themselves a win very crucial in keeping themselves near the middle of the pack in the SAC.
We saw Northrop blow a huge lead to Southside last week. If they blow this to Wayne, they fall deep into the bottom of the SAC standings.
Thank you, Noah Lancz, for that SAC scoring update. First down handoff to Sir Hale goes nowhere. As those three pillars of pure marble on the defensive line make that tackle, and there's a man down for Homestead.
And this is not what you want to see. It looks like Max Schultz is down on the field. Looks like his leg.
And that's the captain for Homestead, 5'11", 170-pound senior. He is one of the leaders on this Spartan defense, and you hate to see him on the ground hurt.
And this may be a bigger hit to Homestead than the team would like to believe. He plays not only middle linebacker, being a heavy hitter in that linebacker core, but he also plays slot wide receiver and is very responsible for getting Gage Sparrow open all the time.
And we've seen him get injured a few times this season, but all those times he's been able to walk off on his own power. This time is different. But now we see Desmond Smith is back on the field, returning from what looked like a apparent knee injury.
So far, injuries have played a factor in this game for Homestead. Des Smith was out for good amount of the final drive for the Spartans in that first half. Max Schultz gets up. He hobbles to the sideline with the help of Isaac Barkus and one of the OPS athletic trainers, hoping to see him get back into this game.
He is not someone you want out of this game for Homestead. The good news for Homestead, if there is any, is that they have 4 guys that can play linebacker at an elite level. So they are deep, and now they always play with 3 linebackers, so it's good. They still have their 3 starters out there.
Blitz coming, Jacob Scavo showing it for the Spartan defense on this second 10. Carson Clark rolls to his right, short pass complete to the tight end. Jaden Hill gets about 5 or 6 yards. Third down coming up, though, for the Knights.
And that blitz by Scavo was very, very impressive. Broke the block by Sir Hale, putting pressure on Carson Clark. And that's where you see Carson Clark being an elite quarterback, able to find the guy under deep pressure.
And here comes another big third down. Can Homestead stop Bishop Luers again? In their own territory. Handoff to Sir Hale. Cuts to his left, cuts inside, and he gets the first down. Sir Hale, once again, showing the elusiveness, showing the ability to shed tacklers, and gets a huge 1st and 10 for Bishop Luers.
And we've talked about the linebackers missing their tackles, but one of the most uncharacteristic things just happened, and former All-SAC defensive end Matt Miller missing a wide-open tackle.
Now 1st and 10, fresh set of downs for the Knights. Sir Hale, he has looked fantastic so far. Fake handoff to Sir Hale, and it's a jet sweep. Gets some room, and that's a big gain by Brayden McInturf, the junior wideout. On the jet sweep, cutting upfield, getting the first down.
And Matt Miller was not able to catch up, and McInturf broke 1, not 2, but 3 tackles before finally being brought down by Jackson Chrisman.
And on this drive, while they've had a lot of running plays, they're looking to go up-tempo, maybe try to take a shot deep here.
1st and 10 as Luers nears Homestead territory. Ball just shy of the Blue H. Short pass complete to Jaden Hill, upfield, and another first down as he almost broke free across the sideline but steps out of bounds. Luers, they are on a drive right now.
And Jaden Hill is no small guy. He is hard to bring down. 5'11", 221 pounds as he takes down Kyle Detweiler as he goes out of bounds.
And
there's another player down for Homestead. This time it's Desmond Smith once again down. It's his second time having the athletic trainers come out to assist Desmond Smith Jr., the running back on the offensive end and the cornerback. Gets up quickly, though. That's a good sight to see. He's one of the most determined players on this Homestead roster.
And he's wincing in pain. It looks like the injury he was trying to play on it, trying to play it off, has just caught up to him. Not what you want to see for Homestead.
Coming in the senior for Desmond Smith. 1st and 10 at the 43 for the Knights. Clark drops back, throwing deep downfield. He's got Brody Glenn. Huge gain, and it's a 1st and goal for the Knights.
And that's the 3rd time tonight Carson Clark has exposed the mismatch on Jack Doyle. It's unbelievable. He has been in for 3 games. Ethan Dorsey has been in for 3 games, had 3 passes targeted at him, and has been blown by 3 times.
And now a big 1st and goal for Bishop Luers. Fake handoff to Sir Hale. Fumble! Fumble on the ground! Bobbled! Who's got it? Homestead saying they have it, and they do not have it. Almost recovered, but Sir Hale finds a way to land on the ball. That was almost a disaster for Bishop Luers.
And what a hit by Eben Person. Had it right out, and Isaac Barkus went to recover it, shoving Sir Hale out of the way, but not able to come up with the ball.
And that would have been a huge fumble recovery, but instead it's a 2nd and 20. Still huge, as now it's gone from 1st and goal to way back there. Sir Hale drops back, almost got the big tight end, Jaden Hill, who Carson Clark targeting all night long. Couldn't get to him.
And now it is a 3rd and really long goal. Almost caught by Jaden Hill, went up for the one-handed grab, not able to hold on. 3rd and long, got 1 shot.
And if you're Homestead here, you cannot allow them to score. Get 1 stop and get off the field. Force them to kick a field goal. We don't know how good this kicker is from this distance.
And the fans are getting excited. They're getting going. The energy is here in Dave Walters Memorial Stadium.
3rd and 20 for the Knights. Clark drops back. Pressure coming. Jackson Crispin trying to get to him. Scrambles. Toriano Franklin can't get him. And he is tripped up by Carter Koob. Big 3rd down stop. And the field goal team is coming out.
And great play by Carson Clark to get out of the pocket, but Carter Koob's speed is able to run and bring him down. And you can see his confidence is boosted, stepping over Carson Clark.
And that Homestead D-line has been able to get that pressure all night, but they haven't been able to capitalize on it, as Clark has always been able to get out of it.
29-yard field goal coming up for Raul Pineda. He's 1 of 1 this year. His long was 30. Spartans looking for a miss here. Snap good, hold good, up and in. That is a huge field goal and make it a 10-point game. Raul Pineda 2 for 2 on the year on that 29-yarder, and Bishop Luers makes it a double-digit game, 38-28.
4:02 to go.
Rethink your limits.
Marco's Pizza, located at 10345 Illinois Road, inside the shops of Scott Road. Marcos specializes in pizza, subs, and more. Order online at marcos.com or by phone at 625-6800. Thank you, Marcos, for supporting the Point 91 FM and being a proud sponsor of Homestead Media's athletics coverage.
Bishop Luers after that Raul Pineda field goal, up 38-28, and it almost turned into a disaster for Bishop Luers. They're lucky to get a field goal after the fumble by Carson Clark forced by Evan Person, but they bounced back on it. Fourth down came up, and they got the field goal to make it a 10-point game. Kickoff outside of the end zone. Nate Anderson going to return it up the middle. He's got blockers, follows them, sheds a tackle, and that is a great return from Nate Anderson. There's a reason he is off to Western Michigan. Not only can he do it at wideout, but he can also return and return far.
And Nate Anderson finally got a ball not kicked to the end zone, because unfortunately the rules in high schools, you can't return the ball out of the end zone. He seemed pretty frustrated with the last two balls that were kicked into the end zone. He was trying to return them. Referees called it off, but finally gets that one at the 1-yard line and does what he does best.
And that was the first time we've really seen him this half. We'll see if he can get involved on the offense.
Peyton Slavin out there to start off what could be the biggest drive of the game so far. A touchdown here would move it to a 3-point game, and suddenly Homestead would be in position to take the lead if they could get a stop. So a touchdown here could do wonders for Homestead. Option goes to Fox, upfield to mid to the 45, and finally brought down. Brett Fox, he has been such a unit at running back for Homestead, and that's another first down.
And talk about pleading your case to become a starter. Between the Concordia game and now the Luers game, he has showed why he has starter potential. The way he's playing is just phenomenal.
And he isn't that big, but he is so quick and elusive that he can get through any defense.
Another 1st and 10 for Homestead, now in Luers territory. 3:33 left in the third quarter. Homestead down 10. Slavin in the gun. Hands off to Fox again, this time to the left side, and he can't avoid the tackler. That's Dodie Devon getting the tackle.
And Devon wrapped him up. Homestead sideline is not happy. They wanted a horse collar tackle, and it looked like it initially flipped over to the jersey to bring him down. And this one's getting heated. There's some boos coming from the crowd.
And that is just barely not a horse collar. Like you said at first, if he kept his hands on that shoulder pad, would have been a horse collar, but went to the jersey, avoided the penalty. 2nd and 12 for Homestead. Slavin fakes the hands off to Gage Sparrow again, and another slant to Gage Sparrow. He has refused to give Bishop Luers any chance of guarding him.
And if Gage Sparrow isn't up to 10 receptions by now, my math must be off, because he's able to find somebody on every single play. He's always open up the middle.
And Gage Sparrow has been the man in this game. He has so many receptions, and he's been getting great yards with it. As we see, Max Schiltz is now back in the game as well.
1st and 10, nearing the red zone. Slavin read option to Fox. Follows blockers to the 20, 15. Can he go? Just short of the end zone. Brett Fox, remember his name because he is making an impact in this one. Whoa!
There's a flag on the play.
Flag on the field, though.
And it looks like this is definitely going to be a block in the back on Homestead, taking this one all the way back.
And that is a killer for this Homestead offense. It looked like they were going to be inside the 5-yard line, but now it's coming all the way back to outside of the red zone.
And a very, very smart play, I guess you could say, by Mason Daring. He saw Brett Fox running by, knew he wasn't going to get to him, knew he was going to get blocked, and turned his back on Max Schiltz, allowing for the penalty to be called.
You could hear the boos from the Homestead faithful. They didn't like that call, but it was blocking the back. And now, 1st and 17. They'll actually call that a holding. Either way, way back. 1st and 17 for Homestead. Slavin in the Spartan offense looking to the sideline. To offensive coordinator Sean Harkness, who has done a stupendous job in his tenure with Homestead. Short pass to Sparrow. Cuts it up, sheds a tackler. What a play by Gage Sparrow. Not only did he slice one defender, but he also broke a tackle, got himself some yardage there.
This is not something you normally see, and a great block attempt by Nate Anderson, but this was all Gage Sparrow. You don't normally see this. He is an undersized wide receiver, only 5'11" and 170 pounds. He doesn't shed tackles often, but there he goes, getting Homestead knocking on the door of a first down.
And he was looking like Sir Hale there on that last play. We've seen Sir Hale break so many tackles, and Gage Sparrow just broke 3 on that play.
So according to that logic, Derrick Henry equals Sir Hale. Sir Hale equals Gage Sparrow. Gage Sparrow is Derrick Henry. Peyton Slavin up the middle, and he is stopped. Helmet comes off of Nick Schweitzer. A big game by Peyton Slavin just up the middle, and a first down.
And Nick Schweitzer, you could tell he was a little bit mad at the helmet coming off. You see it comes off after the play, just falls right off of his head. Not very happy about it.
Minute left in the third quarter. Spartans down 10. Homestead in the red zone looking for a critical touchdown to move this back to a one-possession game. Sparrow jet sweep to the left sideline, cuts upfield, and a flag thrown as he is tackled.
There's a flag at the end of the play.
This might be hold.
And if it's holding, it's going to be on Brett Fox. Only a sophomore, not really experienced at blocking. Oh, it's going to be holding on Nate Anderson, which is uncharacteristic. The senior used to blocking as a wideout, forcing Homestead back yardage.
And you'd think Homestead would try to have a little bit more efficiency here, as they don't have much time. There's only about a quarter left in this game.
Ooh, and they'll call that a hands to the face. Actually, a block in the back.
I don't necessarily agree with that call. If it's going to be anything, it's going to be holding. But it looked pretty clean. Definitely not a block in the back, as the defender was in front of Sparrow.
Either way, clock rolls to down to half a minute in the third quarter. And a long first down. Slavin, low snap, cuts upfield. He's got a lane into the end zone. Did he get to the pylon? They will mark him out at about the 3-yard line. Big scramble by Peyton Slavin. You have to be impressed with the improvisation abilities that this young quarterback has.
And look at this. He sees the wide open field, sees the block by Anderson, a much better block this time, and squeezes by. And he stepped just out of bounds as reaching for the pylon. First and goal for the Spartans.
And he really got lucky there that he got called out of bounds, because that ball came out of his hands and hit the pylon, so it would have been a touchback had he not stepped out of bounds.
Here is a first and goal for Homestead, inching closer and closer to the end zone. Hands off to Fox up the middle. Bounces off a blocker, and he is stuffed short of the end zone at about the 1-yard line. Clock rolling.
1-yard line. Second down and goal.
They will head over to the sideline. Brett Fox just stopped at the 1-yard line, maybe the half-yard line even.
And that's where the undersizemanship comes into play for Brett Fox. He's not able to bulldoze past the defenders, and it's just short.
Fourth quarter coming up, and we have such a great game. Homestead down 10, but inching closer and closer to a one-possession game.
What limits you? Too small, too old, insecure, broken. You have no limits. Rethink your limits.
As the fourth quarter looms and the field flips, we'll take it to Noah Lancz, who's got updates on scores in the SAC.
And Carroll now, just in the third quarter, has scored more points than they did last week against Snyder, and they're still keeping their shutout. Snyder winning 31-7 against Concordia. No longer a shutout there in that fourth quarter. Dwenger, 44-0, fourth quarter. They've just been unstoppable this game. Southside cannot get anything going on the offensive side, while Wayne and Northrop, it looks like they've got a battle going into that fourth quarter. 1 point game, Wayne trails 12-13.
Wayne Northrop, such a good game going on there. Both teams fighting for their first win of the season. Thank you, Noah Lancz, for that update. We'll keep track of those scores as those games close out. 12 minutes to go. Homestead nearing the end zone, 1 yard away. Hand off to Fox, up the gut. Touchdown, Homestead. Brett Fox in the end zone again. And now it is a one-possession game.
And Peyton Slavin is hyped for his partner in crime behind the line. Touchdown for Brett Fox, and you see Slavin jumping into the sky, happy as can be.
That's got to energize the defense right there. They know they need to get a stop for their offense to give them any chance to win this game.
Cameron Jarrett lining up for a critical extra point to make this a field goal game. He has been perfect so far in this game and on the season. And that one as good as the others. And we have a ball game. 11:55 left in the fourth. Spartans down 3. Luers getting the ball next. Homestead getting ready to kick off to Bishop Luers for what should be a crucial drive for the Knights, as Homestead, the touchdown on that last drive by Brett Fox, who's making his case for maybe being the starter at running back, or at least getting up the depth chart. He has looked fantastic, and it's a crucial touchdown he just got. Line drive kickoff. Bounces. Oh, he stepped out! He stepped out at the 1 yard line! What a disaster on special teams! Coach Lindsay can't believe it! Antoine Lake stepped out!
And you can't see it, but just at the bottom of the screen, as he feels the ball, his right foot just out of bounds in the Homestead sideline. The Homestead stands are going crazy, knowing that they have pinned Bishop Luers' offense inside the 1.
And he's trying to plead his case that he's already out of bounds when he touched the ball.
And he just could not believe that. And the refs are going to go ahead and place this ball at pretty much the 1 yard line.
And not the air you're expecting out of senior wideout Antoine Lake, who has played phenomenal so far, made his deep catches, and he's so fast, so quick. Probably looking to run this one back, but he messes up.
1st and 10, way back in their own territory. Can Homestead make a critical stop and maybe get a safety here? The 3 pillars of pure marble looking to get a sack here. Carson Clark in the end zone. The student section getting ready, and a whistle blown before the snap. And a timeout taken by Homestead. They want to get the perfect formation out there in order to get a tackle for loss.
And if I'm Homestead, I think the perfect formation that you want to run is you want to have Isaac Barkus and Austin Keyser in the backfield just in case a play breaks through. Have two corners protecting wideouts and send everybody else for the safety.
And on that kickoff, it looked like Dorsey got hurt another loss at the defensive back position, which is why there is confusion there on that last play leading to the timeout. Thomas Kuros came onto the field, but he was just being told where to go.
Jackson Chrisman, the defensive end, heading into today, he led the state in sacks with 4.5. Can he get himself another one on this drive? And can he get it here on first down at the half-yard line?
And an important thing to note is that Johnny Waddell, the big boy at nose tackle, is out for Floyd Sandelin, the third.
Student section, loud and proud. Can Homestead get a stop? Blitz coming to Kyle Detweiler. Carter Koob showing it on the left side. Whistle blown, a flag. And it's going to be offsides on Homestead. A disaster for the Spartan defense. Luers gets the break of their lives.
And that is the worst call I've seen this game. Nobody crossing the line of scrimmage. It was false start on Bishop Luers. I cannot believe it.
And that is why that injury to Dorsey is so crucial. Kuros coming in for him, and that is going to be a big penalty.
And now a 1st and 5. Bishop Luers gets a huge break as now Carson Clark stands at his 1-yard line. Homestead showing blitz again, throw downfield, incomplete, intended towards Brody Glenn. Just out of the hands and just out of the reach. 2nd and 5, coming up deep in their own territory.
And Carson Clark looking antsy as Jackson Chrisman was closing in, throwing it way over the head. Great coverage there by Thomas Cross, who just had the fatal mistake of jumping off.
The Knights have had a common theme tonight when the defensive backs have been injured. When Smith came out, they attacked Dorsey. Dorsey's out, now they're attacking Kuros.
And it looks like Dorsey is back into the game from his injury.
Carson Clark in the gun. Hand off to Sir Hale, and he is stopped in the backfield.
That's the first big play there by the defensive line of Homestead today.
And look at Carter Koob bringing him down for a tackle for loss, setting up 3rd down inside the 5-yard line.
Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. 3rd and 6, 11:25 left in the 4th. Luers deep in their own territory. Carson Clark standing in his end zone. Student section. The decibels are over 100 at Davis Walters. Here we go. Carson Clark in the gun, drops back. Throws downfield, caught by Brody Glenn. Sheds a tackle. Upfield and finally knocked down by Max Schultz. What a play by Brody Glenn. And what a connection for Carson Clark. That is huge for the offense.
And look at the crowd silencer for Bishop Luers at taking out Dornsby. And then the fatal mistake, Kyle Detweiler taking out Ethan Dorsey on the play.
That was just a terrible play for the defense right there. Everything that could go wrong went wrong. Missed tackles, big gain, missed coverage.
1st down for Bishop Luers and a flag thrown. Several men in motion for Bishop Luers. Refs intervene. Still talking it out. And it's a false start on Bishop Luers. Just a lot of confusion before that play.
And after Bishop Luers silenced the crowd, they've looked a little bit uncomfortable with the silence. They looked too ready and almost to the point where they thought they had two guys in motion, which is not allowed.
10:42 left in the 4th quarter. Bishop Luers up 3. Sir Hale, the running back, next to Carson Clark. 2 studs on the offensive end for Bishop Luers. Blitz coming from Evan Pearson. Big hit! Fumble! Fumble on the ground! It's recovered by Jackson Chrisman! What a big turnaround in one play! Homestead has it back in the red zone!
And the play of the century, Evan Pearson coming with the blind side tackle, knocking it loose. Jackson Chrisman with the recovery.
Clark never saw it coming. You see him come right around the edge. Great jump on the play. He doesn't even see him. He just gets lit up. Fumbles right away, and Jackson Chrisman's in the right place at the right time.
What a hit by Evan Person, the Wayne transfer, just laid a licking on Carson Clark.
And that is what Homestead was looking for when taking in Evan Person. Carson Clark going to the sideline, all shaken up. We talked about these hard hitters at the linebacker position, and there you go.
Here we go, 1st and 10 in the red zone for Homestead. Peyton Slavin and Brett Fox, the QB, and running back tandem in the backfield. Homestead looking for a touchdown to take the lead or a field goal to tie.
And if that last play doesn't get you hyped up, I don't know what will.
The student section certainly hyped up. Here we go. Hands off to Fox to the left side. Sheds a tackle and tripped up at about the 16-yard line. Solid gain for number 26.
And this is Gage Sparrow territory, just outside the red zone. Gets tripped up, a 5-yard play, setting up a 3rd and short. That is what you want right now. You want to just inch closer and just make sure you're in field goal range.
All Homestead needs to really do here is just get points on the board on this drive. But idealistically, they need a touchdown to regain that lead.
2nd and 9 now for Homestead. Fox in motion, goes from the right to the left, along with Isaac Barkas. Slavin drops back, has Anderson on the short pass, but just to the left side. Miscommunication between the two, and a 3rd down, a crucial 3rd down coming up.
Homestead, they have to put points on the board. They only need 3. Homestead, if I'm Homestead right now, just run the football, get a couple yards, and kick the field goal to tie it up.
And that was a great play there by the defensive line of Bishop Luers to break up the quick screen. You know when Nate Anderson gets the ball in space, he can do crazy things.
9:36 left in the 4th. Big 3rd and 9 for the Spartans. Luers looking for a red zone stop. Slavin, low snap, looking towards Anderson to the end zone. Caught him by 4. Ends up getting first down for Homestead. Nate Anderson, his main target. We talked about these two heading into the game, and there's a huge connection.
And look how beautifully this ball is placed. Low snap, quick recovery. Looks at Anderson right in stride and places it right on his outside shoulder. Just what you want if you're Homestead, and now it's a 1st down inside the 5.
And Nate Anderson finally getting his name into the stat sheet in this 2nd half. Look for him here again for a quick back shoulder fade.
1st and goal for the Spartan offense. Hands off to Fox. Bounces off lineman. Stopped just short of the 1st down marker. They'll say his forward progression ended at the 2. 2nd and goal coming up.
And Fox just trying to run up the middle. Barely brought almost a face mask tackle, but just short as he can't push his way through.
And just before the end of the 3rd quarter, we saw Luers get a 1st down stop at the goal line.
And you see Slavin looking to the sideline, showing the flex motion. I believe this will be a possible quarterback sneak, trying to push it up the middle. Watch the offensive lineman to just shove the defensive lineman back.
Cowbell's ringing, 2nd and goal. Hand off to Fox, stopped again. Huge tackle by Evan Linker. He's a running back, and he stopped the running back on that one. 3rd and goal. Another 3rd down coming up on this drive.
And Linker read this play like a book. He saw the gap coming and closed it as fast as he could. Brett Fox was unable to push his way through.
And Fox right there was really just folded like a lawn chair. He just got knocked down right away when he was trying to get into the end zone.
8:15, huge 3rd and goal. Can Bishop Luers continue the goal line stand, or will Homestead break into the end zone and take the lead? Fakes the handoff. QB sneak. Is he in? Yes! Touchdown Spartans. The lead belongs to Homestead. Peyton Slavin up the middle.
And for the first time tonight, Homestead finally takes the lead. What a play. The bell is ringing. The SAC champs are coming back, trying to take their title for the 3rd year in a row.
The bell is ringing. The student section's going crazy. The whole Homestead sideline's going crazy. This is what you love to see on a Friday night.
Cameron Jarrett, the point after that would push this game past field goal potential for Bishop Luers. Up the middle and good, and Homestead has the lead, 42 to 38, 8 minutes left. What a game!
What limits you? Too small, too old, insecure, broken. You have no limits. Rethink your limits.
Homestead up 42-38 with 8 minutes left in the fourth quarter after that touchdown, and now we go to Noah Lancz to look at some other scores around the SAC.
And earlier we saw all 4 games having one team shut out. Now there's only one that remains. That's a Carroll Northside game, 40-0 in the fourth quarter. In the Snyder-Concordia game, Concordia was able to add 6 points. It's now 38-13 as Southside also able to add 6 points. They trail 50-6, not likely to come back in this one, as the Wayne and Northrop game is going to be a nail-biter in the fourth quarter, still 12-13.
And if you're at any of these other games checking the scores like we are, you have to be wondering what is going on at Homestead. Homestead entering the second half down 14. Now they've only allowed 3 points.
And a touchback as Sir Hale backs into the end zone on that kickoff. According to the rules, if you catch the ball outside the end zone, then come into the end zone, it is a touchback. It's not like college football where that would then become a safety if you get tackled in the end zone.
And this is more for the safety of the high school players, as kickoffs are one of the more dangerous aspects of football.
And it's very strange to see a rule change between all the different levels, but there's a different rule in high school, college, and NFL.
And that, again, that is because of the dangerousness, but talk about dangerousness. Eben Pearson back on the field, that dangerous hit to Carson Clark earlier, and he's back and hungry for more.
He's a bad man on the right side for Homestead, and he's going to be showing blitz the rest of the way. 1st and 10 for Bishop Luers. Can they take the lead back? Carson Clark drops back. Pressure coming. Flags thrown. Pass to the end zone, or to the sideline. Complete. But there is a flag on the play back at the line of scrimmage.
And it's definitely going to be holding on Bishop Luers. This is going way back. Jackson Christmas was just held back after getting beat.
And it looked like it was Nelson Knapke, the man of the dogs, who had the holding penalty. He just tackled Jackson Crispin right there.
And this is a familiar situation. Bishop Luers backed up near their own end zone. 7:54 left in the fourth quarter. This game, not only is it definitely the game of the week in the SAC, but this could prove to be game of the year.
And just the energy on both sides right now. The entire first half, it was coming from Luers. Now it's coming from the Homestead side.
Blitz coming from the secondary. 1st and 23. Pressure coming. Throw complete. But he is stopped at the line of scrimmage. Nowhere to go for Antoine Lake.
Carter Coob read this. Look at him right in the middle of your screen. He's patient. He sees the reception and just goes for the tackle. What a veteran move for the senior.
And it looked like that defensive line was going to get to the quarterback. Clark able to get it out quickly. And like you said, Anthony Coob getting the tackle.
2nd and 22. Carson Clark and Sir Hale uncomfortably close to their own end zone. Carter Coob showing blitz. There he comes. Throw downfield, incomplete. Brody Glenn about 2 yards short of being able to catch that one. 3rd and long coming up.
And Carson Clark looked scared. He wanted to get the ball out as fast as he could in his own end zone. Did not want to stay there for long because he knew these Homestead dogs were coming at him.
I think he might have some PTSD from that hit by Eben Person earlier in that game.
3rd and 22. Carson Clark has to get a big gain now. for the Knights if they want to try and take this lead back. 4 wide receivers, pressure coming. Throws, got Jaden Hill, but he is stopped well short of the first down marker. 4th down, and the punt team's coming out.
And Evan Person coming in on the right side. They had to put 2 blockers on him to make sure Carson Clark did not get a blindside tackle. Max Schultz wrapping him up 11 yards short of the first down marker.
And it's great to see that captain and leader of the defense, Max Schultz, back in the game, making a big play on a long 3rd down.
Brody Glenn out to punt for Homestead. And with the Spartans getting the ball back, the momentum is on the Spartans' side. It's pretty much 100% on Homestead's side. Luers, it's going to take everything they have to get a stop. And it's a knuckleball almost straight into the air. Takes a Luers bounce, though, across midfield. A lucky bounce for Brody Glenn.
The punt is brought down
at the 46.
That's where the Spartans will start 1st down and 10.
And that punt could have ended in a disaster if it hadn't from the 20-yard gift bounce that Luers was given.
And that really changes the offensive game plan on this drive here, being inside of the Bishop Luers territory compared to being on their own side.
1st and 10 for Homestead. A score here could give them the swing they need to secure a win. 6:06 left in the 4th quarter. Luers needs a stop. And look at those linebackers. Look at that secondary. They're bringing the house. They're bringing the blitz. Low snap. Handoff to Fox up the middle. And brought down after a solid 5-yard gain.
And Homestead and Luers have been running very similar defenses this second half. The difference is the offensive line. We talked about how Luers' offensive line was a lot smaller than normal, and Homestead has finally been able to exploit that smaller offensive line, whereas Luers has not been able to get past the larger Homestead offensive line.
In these last few drives for Homestead, the snaps have been coming in very low. Slavin's done well to deal with it, but it could end up being a problem if one gets away from him.
2nd and 5 for Homestead. 2 backs in the backfield for the Spartans. Fakes the handoff, short throw to Sparrow, complete at the first down marker.
Sparrow brought down right at.
They're going to mark him just shy. It'll be 3rd and inches.
They might have to bring out the chains.
Just shy.
It's a close one for sure. It's Gage Sparrow, another 5-yard play for another reception.
And I don't know how that there is not a first down or how they don't even check it.
3rd and inches. A lot of confusion on the Homestead side. Coach Zolman might need a timeout here. Play clock at 8. They need to get something going. You can't take a delay of game here. Coach Zolman going to have to call a timeout. And he will. As whole lot of hands in the air, whole lot of confusion on the Spartans side, but Homestead still has saved plenty of timeouts.
I believe Coach Zolman was waiting for the chains to be brought out because of how close the ball is to being a first down. They never were brought out.
And I don't know why they wouldn't bring it out there. I don't exactly know the rule, but just looked like a lot of confusion out there. And now it could be crucial for Homestead only having 1 timeout left with less than 5 minutes.
What a game this has been, guys. Homestead up 42-38, and heading into the second half, it looked like it could have been game over already. Bishop Luers was up 14, and then suddenly Homestead got some crucial stops. That huge fumble forced by Evan Person, and now Homestead has the lead, has the momentum, and if they convert this 3rd down, then they also have the time in their hands to wind it down and maybe seal the win.
And if I'm Homestead, put the ball in the hands of Brett Fox, maybe put some Brevin Adams in there, just run the ball a ton, just run down the clock, make Luers waste their timeouts.
Here we go, 3rd and inches. Can Luers make the stop? Hands off to Fox. They get him short of the line to gain. Huge stop, more than likely a 4th down conversion coming up, but for now, Luers is safe.
And a disaster on Homestead, and that's Brett Fox's only weakness is his size. He can't bulldoze past, he can't make those big plays. What a play by Evan Linker, the outside linebacker.
And he's really been huge tonight, getting those stops in short yardage conversions. It was just 3rd and 1 there, and he got a big stop coming right through the gap, and he got another stop on the goal line earlier this quarter.
4th and 1. 4:15 left. Luers has all 3 timeouts, but they need a stop here to give themselves a realistic shot. Low snap, read option, and he breaks 3 to the first down. Huge gain by Brett Fox. The speed option works perfectly for Homestead, and the chains are moving.
What a great job by Coach Zolman, putting trust in his sophomore running back and his speed, getting the first down and some extra guacamole with it.
Great play overall right there, getting to the outside. And he's just been so elusive and quick this game.
1st and 10, and the most crucial 1st and 10 so far. Homestead leads 4 with 4:02 left in this ball game. Luers with all 3 timeouts, and they might have to use them soon. Fox bounces, spins, he's got space to the 30. Cuts upfield to the 20. What a gain by Brett Fox! Have yourself a game. Unbelievable. Homestead in the red zone again.
Undersized who? 150-pound who? This guy's elusiveness, his speed. Look at this move. He just goes inside, going behind Max Auxier and just cutting upfield all the way to the 11-yard line.
And if Bishop Luers Knights have Derrick Henry on their side and Sir Hale, then the Homestead Spartans have Christian McCaffrey on their side in Fox.
Clock winding, 1st and 10. Luers may need to go into those timeouts. Another handoff to Fox, and he is tripped up as he crosses the line of scrimmage. About a 1-yard game, and Luers, with the clock winding, they are in a dire situation now. It's all about forcing a field goal at this point.
And Brett Fox rolling in like a bowling ball, knocking out Max Schultz after the play. These Homestead guys, the mood has shifted from panic and yelling at each other on the sidelines to having a good time, getting the student section going, waving their hands in the air, and celebrating how well this offense and defense has played.
2:50 left, 2nd and 10. The Spartan crowd is loud. Direct snap to Slavin, follows his blockers, has a lane, and goes out of bounds. At about the 8-yard line, he had space as the quarterback. He decides to take the safe route and go right to the out of bounds.
And a rookie mistake by Slavin to go out of bounds, stopping the clock. Not what you wanted. Coaches on the sideline were very unhappy.
And that's really a crucial mistake. He could have taken it under 2 minutes.
And Zach Zolman is going to come into the game, the coach's son, for this 3rd down.
3rd and 7. Luers needs a stop here to stay alive. 2:39 left in this game. Down 4. And a timeout taken.
Timeout called by Homestead.
Homestead going to talk things out. That was their final timeout. They want to make sure that on this 3rd down they get everything right.
If they get this 1st down, they are setting themselves up in great position to win this ball game. They can get a touchdown here. The game might as well be over.
And I don't see any reason why it shouldn't be over at that point. Although we did see earlier Clark have some great plays. As we look at the scores right now, we have 2 games that have finished up. Dwenger won 50-14 against Southside, as Wayne was not able to come back against Northrop. They lost 13-12. The Carroll game is still a shutout. They're winning 40-0 against Northside. And also in the 4th quarter, Snyder leading 45-13.
That's a huge win for Northrop, finally getting in the win column. And it was a close one, but they got the job done by just 1 point. There's been a lot of 1-point and 2-point finishes this season in the SAC. You had Snyder Northside week 1, then you had Snyder Carroll, which was a 1-point game last week, and now 1-point win for the Bruins.
I don't believe Snyder's going to have another 1-point win again today, as they're really hammering down on Concordia like Homestead did last week.
Here we go, 3rd and 7. Can Luers get the stop inside the 10-yard line? Slavin barking out orders to his linemen. 9 seconds left on the play clock. Drops back, looking towards Anderson. Throw, intercepted! Intercepted! Evan Linker, unbelievable! What a stop by the Luers defense! And Evan Linker changes the direction of this game.
And what a read by Evan Winker with the QB's eye, stretches out, caught by the fingertips of Winker, and it was all him. So much space. Just what a great read. Couldn't get Sparrow on the in route as he's been able to do 11 times earlier today, and Winker finally learning his lesson, getting the pick.
And Linker turned his hips away from the quarterback, and then he turned him right back, deceiving Slayton right there. And Slavin had to come back to make that tackle. Just a terrible play, worst case scenario there for Homestead.
What a game we have going. Luers, 2:31 to drive down the field and score a touchdown. 2:30, they take a second off the clock for some reason. Here we go. Can Carson Clark, Sir Hale, and this Luers offense march down the end zone to take the lead? Pressure coming. Carson Clark steps up, scrambles to his right, looking towards the sideline, gets there safely, just shy of the first down marker.
Now the question is going to be, after that morale deficit on the interception, can Homestead's defense react and stay disciplined, stay calm, and keep applying the pressure they've been this entire half?
And the energy's just been sucked out of the Homestead fans right now after that interception. But Clark still not really looking the same since he took that big hit, which caused a fumble.
2nd and 2 for Bishop Luers, looking to keep that #1 ranking in Class 2A. Short pass incomplete to Sir Hale, ball on the ground. Homestead thinks it's a fumble, but it was an incomplete pass. But 3rd and 2 coming up. Bishop Luers in dire situation.
And if I'm Luers right now, I need to get a stop, as that was just completely mishandled by Sir Hale. If I'm Luers right now, I give it back to Sir Hale as they've been doing the entire first half and let him run those 2 yards needed.
And if you're Coach Lindsay, you have to ask yourself, if you don't convert here, is this 4th down that you have to convert on? Hand off to Sir Hale up the gut. And they stop him short of the first down marker. It is decision time for Coach Lindsay.
And it looks like the referees are going to talk about it a little bit. It's going to be short. Timeout taken by Luers. What a play by Homestead's defensive line and linebackers getting the stop on 4th down. Sir Hale's not able to do what he was able to do in the first half.
And as you mentioned earlier, Brayden, Jackson Crispin leads the SAC in sacks with 4.5, but right there coming up big, not allowing Sir Hale to get to the line of game.
2:04 left in what has been so far the best game the Summit Athletic Conference has had to offer this season. It's been at first an offensive showdown, then the defense has really stepped up in the second half. We just saw Evan Linker get himself a huge interception. Homestead also earlier in the 4th quarter, Evan Person got himself a fumble that later led to a game-defining touchdown. What a ball game we have going.
This game is just very, very good so far. The best game of the week for sure.
And right now it's the only one still going on. There's still 2 minutes left in this one. As we mentioned earlier, the Wayne Northrop game was over, Dwenger Southside game over, but now Carroll Northside 40-0 final, Snyder winning 45-13 final.
And really only Wayne Northrop was the good game outside of this one in the SAC. No surprises outside that except for the Northside game blown out by Carroll. Here we go, 4th and 1, 2:04 left in the 4th quarter. Carson Clark rolling left, throw, complete! What a play by Brayden McInturf. And that keeps the drive alive for Bishop Luers.
And look at Carson Clark calmly drifting off to the side, throwing it. And what a grab by McInturf, tiptoeing out of bounds. Austin Keyser is not able to push him hard enough to knock him out.
And it's unbelievable how calm Carson Clark was on that play. Not fazed at all by the fact that he had to roll left in order to even throw that ball. 1st and 10 for Bishop Luers. Blitz coming by Evan Person. Carson Clark rolls left, going to scramble, evades a tackler, cuts up for a little more yards, and he is marked out of bounds at about the 48-yard line. Another big gain by the QB.
And a smart play by Carson Clark. Knew Evan Person was coming after him, and avoiding the tackle by Kyle Detweiler to get a couple extra yards.
And that's just a veteran play there. We saw Slavin not step out of bounds earlier, and that could have taken it under 2 minutes, and that's basically where we are now.
Minute 50 left. Spartans lead by 4. Luers needs a touchdown here to take the lead and stay in this game. 2nd and 1. Carson Clark drops back, steps up, throws down the middle to Mickenturf, and it's Brody Glenn who makes the catch. Unbelievable. Mickenturf and Brody Glenn came together, and somehow one of them ended up with the ball.
And what an interesting play. Both on post routes, going into the middle, colliding with one another. Where was the coverage for Homestead? Just a complete disaster in the middle. If they had to run into each other, that could have been a big touchdown.
And that's that Bishop Luers magic to make that grab. In any other situation, that's an incompletion. Hands off up the gut to Sir Hale. He has space, gets to the 20, and out of bounds. Flag thrown as Max Schultz is on the ground. This might be holding on Bishop Luers.
And Max Schultz went down earlier, and he's down again. Cannot get up. This is absolutely not what you want to see. Jacob Scoville comes to help him out. And a hard hit by Jaden Hill on Max Schultz. Looks a little bit shaken up for sure.
It looks like Ethan Dorsey was held on that play, if that's the penalty here. And that's what it is. Ethan Dorsey was held as Sir Hale cut up field, and that is huge for Homestead. Under 90 seconds left. Bishop Luers inching closer and closer to taking the lead.
And Max Schultz going to the sideline, chucking his helmet on the ground, clearly limping as he goes over to talk to the OPS personal trainer.
Here we go. 1st and 12. Carson Clark with Sir Hale in the backfield. It's got to be the loneliest place in Fort Wayne right now, standing back there. Hand off to Sir Hale again to the same side, and almost exact same results for Sir Hale. Homestead did not read the run, and that's a big gain. And the clock stopped for a minute. The Homestead sideline was just screaming at the clock operator to get it moving as he was not tackled out of bounds.
And Ethan Dorsey made the tackle there for Sir Hale to put on the brakes and stop now.
2nd and 4 in the red zone, or outside the red zone. Carson Clark scrambles to his right. Homestead begging for a holding, but no penalty thrown. And there's a penalty at the end called, and that's going to be on Homestead. And the sideline cannot believe it. Not only was there not a holding earlier, but that's going to be a penalty after, probably on Homestead.
And look, this was definitely a holding. Look at the middle of your screen, a holding on against Jacob Scavo, and let's see what the play is here. And they're calling a late hit on that. I don't believe it. The play was still going on.
And he's just in the game. Floyd Sandin making a huge mistake in this game, stopping the clock and getting them half the distance to the goal.
That is huge for Bishop Luers. 50 seconds left, and now 1st and goal. They are in range to take the lead.
It'd almost make more sense for them to run it here and get that clock going just because they're so close.
Carson Clark and Sir Hale in the backfield. Hands off to Hale, and he is stopped at the line of scrimmage. He'll gain only about a half yard. Tick, 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 that clock rolling down under 40 seconds. 2nd and 7 for Bishop Luers.
And Bishop Luers, they have 2 timeouts, so they should they're going to keep the clock rolling here. Let the time roll off, try to get the last play of the game and make it a touchdown.
They're letting clock go off here if they're going to try to go quickly. They do have those 2 timeouts, though.
2nd and goal. Carson Clark Awaiting the snap. 17 seconds left. Handoff to Sir Hale again to the 10, to the 5. Touchdown! Bishop Luers has taken the lead with 13.6 seconds left.
And I don't believe it. Bishop Luers marching down the field under pressure, using up the time clock and getting all the way in. What a drive by Sir Hale.
And right now is exactly why those timeouts that they used earlier, that they didn't really need to, they could have taken a delayed game, becomes so important. Homestead's going to only have 14 seconds to drive down the field and try to get 3 with 0 timeouts.
Last year, Homestead had a miracle. Famous Nate Anderson, Hail Mary against Bishop Klinger. Do they have one tonight against Bishop Luers? Raul Pineda attempting the point after. Homestead coming after this one. It's down the middle and good. 13.6 seconds left. Bishop Luers 3-point lead. Can Homestead finds a way to pull off the miracle? We'll find out.
Bishop Luers takes the lead 45, Homestead 42.
What limits you? Too small, too old, insecure, broken. You have no limits. Rethink your limits.
Bishop Luers leads 45-42. Just under 14 seconds left. And Homestead, they need a miracle to end all miracles if they want to get a field goal or win this one.
And look at the backfield for Homestead. They have Nate Anderson and Gage Sparrow in the back, Cam Johnson, the running back, and Brett Fox just in front.
And you have to look to Homestead's last drive and the huge mistake on the goal line. Peyton Slavin throwing the interception to Evan Linker. Going for the run there might have proved to be the better decision, especially with hindsight, as Bishop Luers immediately drove down the field and scored that touchdown.
Only 13 seconds to work with now.
It'll be interesting to see here if Luers decides to squib it or try to kick it down as far as they can.
Either way, Raul Pineda kicking against the wind, so regardless, this one might not go very far. Here we go. Bishop Luers up 45-42. Homestead needs a field goal in 14 seconds to keep this game alive. No timeouts for the Spartans, and it is a squib. Ball in the hands of Mason Oxier. He's got to go down. He's got to go down. Clock rolling, and he is finally taken down with the whistles blowing. 6 seconds left. Maybe too much time taken off the clock there.
First down and 10 for
And
Homestead.
a very big mistake to not go down for Oxier. Really needed to go down. I don't know why the whistles weren't blowing for a stoppage of forward possession.
Here we go.
He could have tried to pitch it back to Nate Anderson. He could have had free space to get in deep in the...
Here we go. Your wide receivers, Max Schultz, Nate Anderson, Gage Sparrow, Mason Oxier, and a timeout first for Bishop Luers. And this play, more than likely, going to be the last play of regulation. 6 seconds left. Spartans down 3, and when you're this far away, you're no longer looking for a field goal. You're aiming towards the end zone.
And the question is, what's the play call? Because you are out of throwing distance for Peyton Slavin. His arm cannot throw the ball 70 yards. The play has to be a pitch it back. They're going to have to do lateral after lateral and hope and pray that they find an open space.
They're going to try to recreate that Miami-Duke game from a few years back. While there are many people that think there are missed calls, you never know what can happen on a Friday night.
Or maybe even the Rutgers-IU desperation play from last year.
Here we go. Mason Oxier, Nate Anderson, Gage Sparrow. Wide receivers for Homestead. Slavin drops back. They're going to look for a short pass to Anderson. Incomplete. 3.1 seconds left. Homestead looked to gain a few more yards for Peyton Slavin, but it looks like they're going to have to go for a Hail Mary here.
A smart play by Nate Anderson to let this ball drop incomplete. It looks like he had his hands on it, but dropped it. The clock would have been running had he caught it.
Here we go. Hail Mary time for Homestead. Do the Spartans have a miracle left in them, or will Bishop Luers remain number 1 in Class 2A? Slavin drops back, heaving, intercepted! Bishop Luers has pulled it off. Doty Devon with the interception, and Bishop Luers remains undefeated.
And what a final drive by Bishop Luers, staying disciplined, taking advantage of an interception, and driving back with 2 minutes to go and getting a touchdown.
And this has been the shock of the season to this point. Luers, nobody really expected them to be this good this season, and now they're going to be 3-0.
They have gone from below 500 in the SAC last year to, like you said, 3-0. What a fantastic team Bishop Luers is. What a comeback they pulled off in the final minutes of this game, scoring with 14 seconds left. And my goodness, this will prove to be one of the best games this year in not only the Summit Athletic Conference, but all of Northeast Indiana.
And the way Carson Clark played, under pressure, even after taking a monstrous hit by Evan Person, he stayed ready. He had his full attention on the field. That last drive was so efficient, so effective, and just such smart football that he deserves to be the best player in the SAC and recognized as such.
And the combo of him and Sir Hale have just really been unstoppable. While they had 35 points in that first half, they did slow down after the fumble in the second half, but they were able to get the crucial last touchdown.
And Luers ends the home winning streak for Homestead. The last time before tonight that the Spartans lost at home was week 1 against Northrop, and now they have pulled it off by 3 points. A very fantastic game to watch, and Bishop Luers, they have proved tonight to everybody in Northeast Indiana, in the state of Indiana, that Bishop Luers is that team.
And it's just a real shocker. Homestead ranked number 4 in the state going into this game. Not only 6A, but overall in the state. And it's just extreme. It's just so impressive that Luers was able to play the way that they played. It was an offensive shootout. They were able to dice up Homestead's defense.
And I think Evan Linker had the game-changing play of this game. It looked like Homestead was in control, about to go up and score another touchdown to get the lead to 49-38, basically be over at that point, but Slavin ended up throwing the interception.
And it was the smartest play I've seen from a linebacker in a while. He did an Ed Reed safety sort of play where he flipped his hips the other way, tricking the quarterback into thinking that the linebacker was running away to cover a receiver, and then flipped his hips back into coverage, and just the ball thrown right to him. The junior quarterback completely fooled.
I have to ask you guys before we sign off, who is your player of the game tonight for Bishop?
On behalf of the IHSA
and I think the player of the
like
game tonight has to go to Sir Hale. Over 200 yards rushing, just played phenomenal, bulldozing through the Homestead defense. As remarkable as the second half was for Carson Clark, you can't forget about how effective Sir Hale was in the first half.
I'm going to have to agree with you there. I would say Clark if he did not have that fumble, but Sir Hale was just consistent throughout the game. He never really had any mistakes and was just a beast.
And an honorable mention, too, that I don't think anyone gives enough recognition to, but the right guard for Bishop Luers, Brendan Mitchell, played phenomenal. Most of Sir Hale's runs were going over through the hole on the right side, and you have to credit him a ton.
And once again, your final score tonight, Bishop Luers 45, Homestead 22. The Spartans fall to 2-1 on the year in the SAC, while Luers stays undefeated at 3-0 in the conference and on the season. For Anthony Gery, Noah Lancz, and the entire Homestead Live crew, this is Brayden Carroll saying so long from Dave Walters Memorial Stadium, and we'll see you next Friday over on 91.1 FM for the game of the week in the SAC as Homestead goes back to the road to take on Bishop Dwenger at Shields Field. This has been a presentation of Homestead Live.
What limits you? Too small, too old, insecure, broken. You have no limits. Rethink your limits.